Because you bought your robot vacuum on your Barclaycard, you got 0% interest for up to 24 months, which makes watching it, hypnotically sweeping up your crumbs, even more satisfying. Oh, missed a bit. What you buy is your business. Helping you pay less interest is ours. Barclaycard. Make money work for you. Subject to financial status. New customers only. Representative example, 24.9% APR representative variable, 24.9% purchase rate per annum based on £1,200 credit limit. T's and C's apply.
LinkedIn is pretty great at a lot of things, like helping you tap into your field's latest industry trends and insights. We can't stop your colleague from tapping her pencil. LinkedIn can help you find new jobs that align with your career goals. We cannot help find the source of that weird smell in the office fridge. Ew. And while we can't stop your colleagues from bringing their hobbies into the office, LinkedIn can help bring your career to the next level. LinkedIn is the network that works for you.
Private healthcare sounds pricey.
At Benenden Health, it's less than £16 per person per month.
Just for GP calls?
For a 24/7 GP helpline, physio, diagnostics and more. Now, tell me.
All about my medical history?
No medical questionnaires or hidden charges. We like to call it
healthcare done different.
Spot on. Benenden Health. Healthcare done different. Fee review periodically. 6-month wait for some services. T&Cs apply. Selected surgical procedures after 6 months. 24 in Northern Ireland. UK only. Visit benenden.co.uk.
Welcome to Max Millions, the casino with winnings that are in a completely different universe. Max Millions. Make a splash and win up to 500 free spins playing Storm to Riches. Plus dazzling daily jackpots on fluffy favourites and Big Bass Splash. Take your seat at maxmillions.com. New players only, £10 minimum deposit, terms apply, 18 plus, begambleaware.org. Please play responsibly.
It's game day, and this is the home of Scottish football. It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Good evening, good afternoon I should say, and welcome to Clyde One Super Scoreboard on what promises to be a blockbuster weekend across Scottish football. 3 Premiership games today: Hibs, St Mirren, Dundee, Livingston and Falkirk against Dundee United, and tomorrow promises to be unmissable. Second v first at Ibrox. How big could that be in the title race? Celtic go down to Kilmarnock, who've started to recover, and after a blockbuster evening at Fir Park during the week, Motherwell play Aberdeen as well. So much to get through in the company of Gordon Dalziel, Cammy Bell and Hugh Keevins.
You could hardly call it the calm before the storm, and all that's to come for Celtic, Rangers and Hearts tomorrow, because today is riddled with anxiety for St Mirren, Livy and Dundee. St Mirren go to Hibs with just 1 win in their last 5 games. They won a cup in December, collapsed in the new year. Are they really headed for the relegation playoffs, or will that be Dundee? They are at home to Livy today, and if Big Marv doesn't win that one, Daz, he'll be back in the studio with you on Tuesday, because Livy will be doomed.
Well, I'm keeping my fingers crossed he gets 3 points up at the Dens, but all terrific games, as Gordon quite rightly says. We'll be focusing on tomorrow later on in the show, but it's all about today. Falkirk, Dundee United, good game for me. You're right, Hugh. If Livy have got any chance, which I don't think they have, they need to start winning games. Up at Dens today, I don't see it at all. And then the best game probably on the card, Hibs v St Mirren, and plenty of games down the leagues as well. St Johnstone got off to a great start at weekend, 1-0 away to Airdrie, opens that gap at the top of the Championship.
Yeah, really looking forward today. I think there's a number of games that have got a huge amount riding on it. Dundee need to win that game against Livy, but they flip it. Livy have got to pick up points very, very soon if they've any chance of surviving. Then you look at Falkirk, can they almost probably secure their top 6 spot with a win at home against Dundee United today? And I think there'll be goals at Easter Roads between Hibs and St Mirren.
Cammy, Dundee United, last 4 games, lost. And if they lose today, then Falkirk go 14 points ahead of Aberdeen, who will lose to Motherwell tomorrow, and 17 ahead of Dundee United. That's what you call cementing your place in the top 6.
This has been a season like no other already. Every single week there is drama one way or another, storylines everywhere you look. You only have to go back a couple of days for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Stephen Welsh and everything in between. So this promises to be another exciting and potentially decisive weekend, and we've got you covered across both days. So sit back and relax. I don't know if you can ever relax listening to Hugh Keevins, but do your best. Send us a tweet if you fancy getting involved in the show early on at Clyde SSB, and of course later on I will give you the nod to pick up your phone and share whatever it is that is on your mind. So let's go around the grounds nice and early. I think we should start with Hibs against St Mirren, and Roger Hanna's there.
Yeah, interesting, Gordon. I was here about 5 weeks ago and it was a really exciting atmosphere. Hibs, who are flying, taking on your own high-flying Motherwell team, a really exciting game of football, and both teams left with their sort of heads up and their chests puffed out. It's changed a wee bit for Hibs since then, and also for the visitors St Mirren, so this makes for an intriguing contest at Easter Road this afternoon. That derby defeat to Hearts at Tynecastle on Tuesday night, it left them 5th in the Premiership table, but they've only had one win in their last 6 games. They're missing the likes of Grant Hanley and Josh Mulligan. Kieran Bowie, of course, is gone for £7 million to Serie A. 3 new strikers coming in, but it's a difficult time for Hibs. They've made 3 changes this afternoon. David Gray right through the team. Warren O'Hara is back in at centre half for Monash Garangara, and he will captain the side today. Jamie McGrath's fully fit. He comes into the midfield in place of Kai Andrews, and very interestingly, Martin Boyle drops to the bench and is replaced by Owen Elding, and first start for a 19-year-old English-born striker who bagged a dozen goals for Sligo Rovers in the League of Ireland last season. So Hibs start with Raphael Salinger in goal. Across the back is Warren O'Hara, Rocky Bashiri and Jack Iredale. Philip Pastlak, Miguel Chewa, Dan Barlasser and Nicky Cadden in the middle, with Jamie McGrath just off a new look front pairing of Owen Elding and Dane Scarlett. In the bench for Hibs, it's Smith, Yuan and Mane, Boyle, Megwa and Andrews, Campbell, Shuto and Molotnikov. Not much to cheer about for St Mirren these days. They lost 4-3 to Kilmarnock on Wednesday night in a great game at Rugby Park. They had been 5 unbeaten. 4 of those were draws right enough before they went to Rugby Park, and they find themselves just 3 points above this relegation playoff place. So they'll focus on today's game here at Easter Road, but they will be very interested to see what happens in that game up at Dens, the boys were talking about, between Dundee and Livingston. Club captain Mark O'Hara is back on the bench today, and Jake Young starts after his 2-game suspension. It was 1-1 when the sides met here in August, Gordon, but Hibs won convincingly 3-0 at Paisley in November. 3 changes too for St Mirren. Conor McMenamin for Jaden Richardson, a straight swap at right wing back, and as a new front pairing, Young is back from suspension along with Darren Lundaloo, so that means Michael Mandron and Roland Idowu both drop to the bench. It's Jamal George in goal. Back 3, Marcus Fraser the skipper, Richard King and Miguel Freckleton. Across the middle, Conor McMenamin, Killian Phillips, Jacob Devaney, Alec Gogic and Declan John, and that new look front pairing of Young and Lundaloo. On the bench, Mullen, Richardson and Tanzer, Donnelly, O'Hara and Idowu, Calvin, Etete and Mandron. The ref is Dan McFarlane. The VAR is Matthew McDermott, and it'll be a really interesting game here today in Leith.
Yeah, the discussion around St Mirren, Roger, and kind of that notion, we spoke about it before, about being too good to go down or too good to be in the playoffs. It feels like the full picture's changed a bit though, because Dundee now are not the Dundee of the start of the season. They've shown various signs of life. They've got a number of good players. You look at their performance at Celtic Park in the Cup a few weeks ago. We're going to get to their game in a second. In the last couple of weeks, Kilmarnock look rejuvenated as well. They're scoring goals. Neil McCann appears to have made an impact there as well. So on a Monday night, me and Andy Halliday have great fun trying to tease you into telling us who you think's going to win the league, and you won't do it. Who do you think finishes 11th?
Dundee United.
Four defeats back on.
Wow. He's gone early.
We'll all do it together. What?
There you go. You listen, you asked the question, Gordon. You got the answer. I'll explain my rationale behind this. I know Fraser Wisher's watching at Falkirk today, but you look at that league table. If we think Livingston are gone, they're 9 points adrift of Kilmarnock. They've not won since the 9th of August. If we say they are gone, then look at the sides above them. Kilmarnock are currently in 11th place, but they've scored 7 goals in their last 2 home games. They beat Aberdeen 3-0. That big win against St Mirren in the middle of the week. They've got a bit of forward momentum. Tyrese John-Jones looks one of the most dangerous strikers in the league. Finlay Curtis was outstanding for them the other day, and they've got a lot of injured players back. Dundee, you've seen how good Dundee can be. You know, they beat Celtic in the league at Dens. They've had a point at Ibrox early in the season. They could have won that cup tie at Celtic Park last season before Celtic rallied late on. They're only 2 points behind United. St Mirren are only 2 points behind United, and United are going to have a big backlog of games because of the postponements. The pitch at Tannadice will not help them in any way, shape or form, and they're not showing any type of form that would indicate to you that they can hold off St Mirren, Dundee and Kilmarnock below them.
Roger, 5 points ahead, 2 games in hand, and you think Dundee United are going to finish 11th. I know you were out with Hugh last night. Was that a late night?
I was just glad to hear his voice at the top of the show. I saw him disappearing into the distance in a black cab, and I thought, I hope he's okay.
Well, I think we're duty bound to go. Oh, sorry, do you want your right of reply before your lawyers get in touch?
I was escorted home by the man from the Daily Mail, so I was in good company, and I was home in good order, Roger.
It's sensible from you. I think we're duty bound to go to the Falkirk Stadium and speak to Fraser Wishart.
Yeah, well, I think Roger Hannah has actually read my notebook, because I had similar put down here, just saying that Dundee United weren't careful. They could get dragged into a battle to avoid the dreaded playoff spot. They're saying 25 points, only 5 ahead of Killie. And when you look at the table today, 14 points, you guys were building it up beforehand between these two teams. If you said at the start of the season that this game would be 14 points between them, you'd actually said that United would be the team in top. But it's been a fantastic season, we know, for Falkirk, who find themselves in such a commanding position in the battle to get into the top 6, and even dreaming of European football. John McGlynn, usually quite calm and collected, is just quite openly enjoying what's been put in front of him and the supporters, and openly saying, yeah, why not, let's give it a go for European football, because 4 wins in the last 6, United have got 4 points in the last 6, and that's seen the gap grow. And John just simply seen his team in confidence and their form in the last 2 seasons, taking that into the Premiership. Many of the same players, added a couple of youngsters from the English Premier League. Latest been Ben Broggio from Aston Villa, scored the winner against Dundee in midweek. Everything he touches just works, and I don't think it's overplaying it to say if United want to get top 6, they can't afford to lose. It's an outside chance for them. They do have 2 games in hand due to weather postponements recently, but it's been stop-start in 26, but they've lost, as you were saying earlier, all 4 games in 2026 in the league. Jim Goodwin chopped and changed this season, tried to find a win formula, but for most of the season it's been inconsistent, and they've changed formation this season. Recruitment policy, in contrast to Falkirk, bringing in big, strong foreign players, and it really hasn't worked so far. And I said earlier, if they're not careful, they could get dragged into the playoff spot, because they've been 3 games postponed. If they beat Spartans in the Cup in midweek, then they've got 7 games in 20 days, and they also play in the Cup here as well, so it's a big test for the squad of Dundee United. Stadium packed again. Falkirk fans have been here in numbers all season, and will be expecting a home win to push up the table, and you wouldn't bet against Falkirk, would you? When you're looking at the teams, there's been 4 changes for Falkirk. They have brought in Bain, McCann, Spencer Miller, and out go Hogarth, Adams, Cartwright and Ross. And in goal is Scott Bain. The back 4 is Philip Lisa, Lewis Nielsen, Liam Henderson and Leon McCann. Brad Spencer and Dylan Tate sit in midfield with Ben Broggio, Louis Marsh and Calvin Miller behind the striker Barney Stewart. The subs for Falkirk: Nicky Hogarth, Keelan Adams, Cole Donaldson, Brian Graham, Aidan Nisbet, Finn Yates, Henry Cartwright, Kyrell Wilson and Ethan Ross. 3 changes from United from the team that lost to Hibs during the week. Cleo Harding, Namo and Moller, who's been sold, drop out. In comes Strain, Iobu and Farrugia. And it looks like a slight change in formation from the 3-4-3 that he's had all season. Looks like a 3-5-2 to me. Ashley Maynard, Brewster, Ben goals, Euro Ovo, Ross Graham and Christian Carestes at the back, Ryan Strain, Luca Stevenson, Craig Sibbald, Neil Farrugia and Will Ferry across the middle, with Christian Trapanovsky and Zach Sapsford as the strikers. Dave Richards, Vico Savelge, Julius Eskinen, Emmanuel Aguier, Ivan Dolcek, Dario Namo, Owen Sturton, Max Waters and Sam Cleo Harding are the substitutes. And the referee today in Falkirk, Ryan Lee, and the VAR experienced Stephen McLean.
So you agree that Dundee United need to be careful? Would you go as far as your learned colleague Roger Hannah and think that they could be the ones that fall to 11th?
No, I don't think they'll be 11th, but they need to be careful, I think, is the word. I mean, if they lose today and Kilmarnock manage to pick up something the next couple of weeks, then all of a sudden alarm bells start to ring. No, I don't think they'll be in the 11th, but there's a danger. I mean, I think they'll beat Spartans in the Cup, but they come back here in a couple of weeks that their season just peters out, because they can't get top 6 for me if they lose. Even if they win today, it's still outside chance. But they're not going to get top 6, so that'll be the end of the league season. Really, they just have to avoid finishing 11th. If they do that and they're out of the Cup, the last couple of months I've got nothing for Dundee United, and it started so promisingly. 4th last year, bringing in all these foreign players to a great hurrah, playing in Europe, and it's just a danger of becoming a damp squib. But they have to be careful, I think, with the word I would use.
Well, Dundee United getting a bit of negativity thrown their way. I suppose they've had a difficult run of results recently. I think it's only right we give the decisive say on the picture at the bottom to a man who's watching both teams in that match that are down there or thereabouts. Dundee against Livingston. David Friel.
Yeah, it's an interesting scenario, Gordon. I think we all agree, listening to the guys earlier, that Livy are in last chance territory today. They're battling to avoid relegation, 12 points behind 10th place Dundee coming into this one. Stephen Presley's side also have a game in hand. If that gap goes to 15 points today, we can all agree Livy can forget about catching them. Kilmarnock vastly improving under Neil McCann. It's a long way back for Marvin Bartley's side. If they lose today, it's a long way back anyway, let's be honest. They need a miracle to stay up. They haven't won a league game now in 189 days. They're doomed to relegation. But Big Marv can't be telling his players that. He'll be telling them that they can get 3 points against the Dundee team, who are in their own survival bid and are also on a poor league run. They were obviously very good against Celtic in the Scottish Cup last weekend, but the midweek defeat to Falkirk made it 4 without a win in the league and 4 games without a goal in the league. Stephen Presley has been pretty clear. He demanded an end to that today. They're back at Dens Park. They've had 5 successful away games. He wants a big home performance and he wants 3 points. Anything less will put Dundee back into real trouble. He's named the same side that lost to Falkirk in midweek. John McCracken in goals, Brad Halliday, Ryan Astley, Luke Graham, Dre Wright, Ethan Hamilton, Jan Danda, Joel Cottrell, Cam Congreve, Simon Murray and Tony Yagan are the front 3. Subs for Dundee are O'Hara, Digby, Samuels, Monts Morelli, Scott Wright, Bevan Jones and Valenzuela. As for Livy, Big Marv, as I said, he's on a rescue mission. He's trying everything. They signed Barry Mackay yesterday. He doesn't make the squad, but he just needs to get back to winning ways. As I said, it's that game way back in August the 9th against Falkirk, the last time they won a league game. That has to end. It has to end today. They need to get 3 points. And he's also brought in Lewis Smith and Christian Montano after the Celtic defeat. They've worked so hard in midweek. They get Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain goal right at the end. Obviously it was a killer for them, but they have to put that behind them and just try and get the win today. So what are they going to line up? Looks like a 3-5-2. Jerome Prior in goals, Brooklyn Cabangolo, Ryan McGowan and Danny Wilson in the back 3, Dan Finlayson and Christian Montano as wing backs, Manuel Danso, Macaulay Tate, Scott Pittman in midfield with Lewis Smith off, Robbie Muirhead in attack. Subs for Livy, Smith, Kerr, May, Bakia, Tam, Shinnie, Silla, Warner and Cuthbert. The referee at Dens Park is Nick Walsh and the VAR is Andrew Dallas.
Right, who finishes 11th in?
It's between the two Dundee teams. I'm not going to go as strong as Roger and say United will finish there, but I do fear for Dundee, Gordon. They just can't score goals. You know, as I said, it's 4 without a win. If you look at Simon Murray, he's only got 3. I mean, he's a talisman. They're normally their top goal scorer, the guy you can rely on. He's only got 3 goals all season. I think it's a real problem for them. They need to win today, that's obvious. But I do wonder if it's going to come down to the two Dundee teams.
So much to look forward to, Gordon. Now, the reason I like it is because, like we said, I think you can kind of make a case, because right now it's the arithmetic that is on the side of Dundee United and Aberdeen. I'm not saying they're brilliant, but the arithmetic is on their side. Below that, I think, you know, St Mirren are still St Mirren. They've won a cup and you know they're kind of capable of in their day. And whilst it looked like this would be a bad season for Dundee and Kilmarnock, it doesn't look like that anymore. And you watch them and you think they've got certain bits about them both that is good. And it's, you know, David running through there, Dundee, a number of good players. Look at the performance at Celtic Park, Kilmarnock as well, now scoring some goals. So come on, if you were quick to rubbish Roger Hannah, you're going to need to give us your own suggestion.
Listen, we talk about how exciting the top 6 is. It's exciting down the bottom, but obviously clubs don't want to be involved in that. I totally agree. I think you look at Kilmarnock, they've picked up. I hear what David Friel's saying there about you need a goal scorer, and probably if he was a top goal scorer he wouldn't be down there playing with the teams, but you need somebody who's got to get you a few goals to get you out of trouble. Dundee seem to struggle, but I've just got a wee sneaky that Dundee can climb. I really do. I think they'll get a result today. I think St Mirren are in trouble. I think St Mirren are bang in trouble.
And they've got Motherwell after Hibs today. I can't see them get 3 points at Easter Road, and I certainly can't see them get 3 points from Motherwell. All of this is a backhand compliment to Neil McCann and Billy Dodds.
Yeah, because they're in 11th at the moment.
And they have in the last 2 games scored 7 goals. Last 2 games at Rugby Park scored 7 goals. In between they've had a going over from Motherwell, lost 4-0, but they've revived Kilmarnock, and I think they'll beat Celtic tomorrow as well.
Win the game.
Wow. Yeah, I think they'll win the game.
Word.
That's good. 20 past 2.
Cammy, are you all putting too much faith in the Killie Revival then? Because they are still 11th at the moment. Every team above them, Dundee's got a game in hand, so have St Mirren. Dundee United and Aberdeen have got 2 in hand.
Yep. No, listen, I think Kilmarnock are in a much better position. They've had that reaction from Neil and Billy going in there. What I would say about Kilmarnock, they need to stop conceding goals, because they won't score 4 goals every single game to go and win a game. So they need to sort out their defensive. They've conceded 51 goals in the league this season. That's a lot of goals. You need to sort that end of the pitch out. I'm pretty sure the management team's doing that. I fear for St Mirren, I really do. I don't know why, I just feel they've got good players, but it just hasn't worked this season.
This is interesting though. That's 6 of you, and nobody has gone for the team that are currently in 11th.
Oh, Kilmarnock.
I think you can see the reaction.
I think Kilmarnock have recruited well enough.
Yeah.
I think they've got a guy you talk about scoring goals, Jules, for instance. Finlay Curtis has come in. He'll be a good addition. They've recruited well. So I think they'll have enough in their locker to get out of that.
Quick question for you. When you were Ayr United manager, did you ever have to drive to Arbroath?
Yeah, many times.
Do you remember how long it took you?
A long time.
Maybe just under 3 hours, would you say?
Yeah.
Oh, no. 2 o'clock today, Arbroath Ayr.
No,
off.
No chance.
Come on,
the fans, seriously.
No.
5 to 2, I think, if you're being specific. 5 to 2.
Oh, the
game
poor
off.
Arbroath fans.
Frozen pitch. So another one doesn't beat the weather. Dunfermline Partick Thistle, that fell earlier on today as well. But we've still got enough on. We've got enough to get our teeth into. And what a week it was. We'll take a look at some of the biggest talking points from the last 7 days when we return.
LinkedIn is pretty great at a lot of things, like helping you tap into your field's latest industry trends and insights. We can't stop your colleague from tapping her pencil. LinkedIn can help you find new jobs that align with your career goals. We cannot help find the source of that weird smell in the office fridge. Ew. And while we can't stop your colleagues from bringing their hobbies into the office, LinkedIn can help bring your career to the next level. LinkedIn is the network that works for you.
What's on TV? The answer is a lot. There's never been more choice over what to put on the box with an abundance of great new shows, but you can miss them all if you don't know where to look. And that's where the Pilot TV podcast comes in, your essential guide to every show that matters. Each week we sift through the very best in prestige TV to help you decide what's worth spending your time on and what isn't. So join me, James Dyer, as well as venerable TV critics Boyd Hilton and Kay Ribeiro, and let us help take the stress out of your downtime. The Pilot TV podcast, because you can't watch everything.
You can't do much in under 5 minutes. Boil an egg? Sure. Cook a roast dinner? No chance. But comparing car insurance prices with mustard.co.uk? Easy. See what you could save in just a few minutes. Click mustard.co.uk. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
Private healthcare sounds pricey.
At Benenden Health, it's less than £16 per person per month.
Just for GP calls.
For a 24/7 GP helpline, physio, diagnostics and more. Now, tell me.
All about my medical history.
No medical questionnaires or hidden charges. We like to call it
healthcare done different.
Spot on. Benenden Health. Healthcare done different. Fee review periodically. 6-month wait for some services. T&Cs apply. Selected surgical procedures after 6 months. 24 in Northern Ireland. UK only. Visit benenden.co.uk.
We are now approaching your destination. Home of your cousin Andrew's wedding. Home of your other cousins, Alice, Anna and Amanda too. As well as their kids, Aria, Alison, Amy and Brian. Fingers crossed they have name cards this time.
Travel by train with Avanti West Coast and be with them sooner. Book early and save up to 42% at avantiwestcoast.co.uk. Exclusions and limitations apply.
Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Cammy Bell and Gordon Dalziel are here. The top team are around the grounds. 3 Premiership matches for you. If you listen regularly, you will know that once we've got the teams and we've set the scene, we take a look at the bigger picture, if you like. Take a look back at some of the big talking points from throughout the week. And not necessarily hard-hitting newsline or controversy, Roger Hannah, but just what a week it was.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. I mean, we knew there was going to be 3 big games at the top of the Premiership involving Hearts, Celtic and Rangers. You could never have expected last minute drama in all 3. For the second time this season, Hearts went right to the wire to get a 1-0 win against Hibs at Tynecastle at Thomas Magnuson goal. And then on Wednesday, for storylines, Alec Oxlade-Chamberlain off the bench for a late Celtic winner, and Stephen Welsh back from Celtic to Motherwell, denying Rangers the win at Fir Park as 10-man Motherwell get a point. There's drama at every turn, Gordon.
It is never disappointing at the moment, Fraser Wishart. It's not to say that to bemoan previous seasons, because we always have our own version of drama in Scottish football, but this season's just been incredible so far.
Yeah, it has, and everybody's talking about will it go to the last game. I mean, Hearts have had 1 or 2 wee stumbles, but they've lost key players and they're still managing to find a way to win. They weren't great during the week against Hibernian, and it was a really poor game, and I think most of the Edinburgh derbies these days are, sadly. But in the end they got the win, and the place was absolutely bouncing. And Shankland's back in the next few weeks, and Devlin's back in the next few weeks, again strengthening their team for this run-in. And for Rangers, they just don't seem to be able to get any kind of real consistent winning run. There's been 3 or 4 without a defeat, then they'll get a defeat or a draw and drop a couple of points. So well done to Hearts. They've kept going, but now can they hold their nerve? That's the big question. And with plenty of other little things going on at the bottom of the table that we've spoken about as well, teams desperate for a win before they get to the split as well. It's going to be a fascinating next few weeks to see how it ends up. But I do think, we say going to the final game, I don't know if it'll be that, but it'll certainly go very close, and we're in for a very, very exciting post-split 5 games.
Must be easy for you newspaper men, David Friel. I know Roger Hannah runs a tight ship, but this season must be taking care of itself.
Yeah, there's storylines within storylines, subplots everywhere going. It's just been brilliant, and it's just great that it's still going, and it doesn't look, we spoke about the bottom of the table, there's this race for Europe as well. What can Falkirk do? Hibs, Motherwell are, for me, one of these stories of the season. And then you've got the top 3 that you speak to different people, everybody thinks there's going to be a different outcome in the league. I don't think Hearts are going away. Rangers, as Fraser said, just can't get consistency. I would never ever rule Celtic out. They've been over the course and the distance so much. They seem to find a way to win games, as we saw in the last couple of games. So yeah, it's going to be dramatic. I think it probably will go down to the final day, to be perfectly honest with you, and let's hope it does, because the drama and the storylines have just been amazing.
Yeah, it has been quite something. Let's try and separate it a bit then. We'll look forward to tomorrow as well. Roger Hannah, the theme of the last couple of days in the Rangers half of all this has been that Danny Rule got it wrong. He picked the wrong team. He said some of the wrong things. And it's one of the weeks in his time in charge where he's had the most criticism. Now, that might be quite a low bar because he's not really had any, because he's done well domestically, but is all of that fair? How much did he get it wrong, or has it been blown out of proportion? He pointed out he was the manager of the month 24 hours before.
Yeah, and he was, and it's a learning curve still for Danny Rule. One day you're a peacock, the next you're a feather duster in this city. I think you would agree, Gordon. I don't think he got the team selection particularly wrong. Rangers led after 6 minutes. They looked, the game panned out really, Gordon, the way I expected it to be honest with you. Motherwell had a lot of the ball. Motherwell caused Rangers problems. Motherwell had chances. They do that to every team. They beat Celtic, if you remember, at Fir Park earlier in the season, and deservedly so. When it went to 10 men with Lucas Vadinger going off, I thought that's when Rangers really should have taken control of the game. They should have used the extra man, and they didn't do that. They tried to sit in, they tried to defend what they had, and when you do that, you always risk being caught out, and they were caught out by the Stephen Welsh goal, and it was a deserved point for Motherwell. But all it really has done is crank the pressure up a little bit more on Rangers ahead of tomorrow against Hearts. For me now, it's a free hit for Hearts, because even if they lose the game, they're still a couple of points clear at the top with a decent run of fixtures coming next. If Rangers lose at home to Hearts, as they did earlier in the season, they're suddenly 8 points behind Hearts, and you wonder where they're going to get those 8 points back from. So all the Fir Park did for Rangers is heighten the scrutiny and heighten the pressure tomorrow.
Yeah, I know what Roger's saying. I sort of disagree. I went along to the game, Gordon. I thought that he had one eye on tomorrow. I think there's guys there, like for instance Olsen. You brought him in, he's got a big reputation. This is the games you brought him in for. It's as simple as that. You're playing against one of the best footballing teams in the league, if not the best football team, at their home patch. The big one for me was, I don't know how he gets involved. Chermiti, it will not do for Rangers. I could be proven horribly wrong here, but he's not for me. I sat and I watched him closely. His movement isn't the greatest. He's not great in the air, and he's not a chance taker for me. So I would have looked at that, and the only one that was up for debate, Magoma has done well, right? But I like the look of the new left back, Romans. I think he looks absolutely brilliant. I just think you've got to go, what is there, 12 games left or something in the league? It's so important These are massive games. Motherwell and Hearts, massive. I think you go with your best players and your best team. So I do think he got that wrong. And I'll tell you where he definitely got it wrong. When he went to back three, He lost the game.
I would say...
Well, I've never lost the game.
No, again, lost obviously the late goal. I would agree, within game, I think he got it wrong. But again, it's fine margins in football. I understand why he did it, because Motherwell have a huge amount of possession within the game, and they did before that. He's almost just trying to see the game out, hoping that they don't concede, because 1-0 would have been a brilliant result and put Rangers in such a good position going to play Hearts tomorrow. It didn't work out, and Roger's right. All it's done is heighten the pressure for Rangers tomorrow. Rangers need to win the game tomorrow. There's no getting away from that. Rangers need to go and beat Hearts tomorrow to give themselves any chance. But there's huge question marks. Chamiti, for me, isn't good enough. He's not a goal scorer. I don't think he's going to be a Rangers number 9 of the future. But it's trying to find that player that's going to get them the goals.
You left it. Sorry, Hugh. You left out a guy you paid. You could have waited to the summer,
100%.
And you paid $2 million, right? You left out Majovsky, who is the top goal scorer just now, obviously through the 3 centre forwards. I know you can argue Annan and Queen's Park. Okay, still find the back of net. Chiramiti for me is the number 3 striker. There's no doubt about it. And you go to Motherwell, and you know Motherwell are a big threat the way they're playing. They had, what was it, 9 games they'd went at Fir Park without losing a goal. After Raskin scored, they were never in the game.
I was on this programme 40 years ago, the last time Hearts lost the league title in the final 7 minutes of the season, and this season is the most fun since then. I'm loving the Hearts manager at the moment. He's a cross between Tony Soprano and, who was it? Robert De Niro. You looking at me? You looking at me? I'm loving Derek McInnes. I'm loving Danny Roll as he finds out what life is really like in Glasgow. And I would stake a large wager on everyone being back where they should be tomorrow. No Chermiti. You'll be back with the players who were signed and the players who are better than Chermiti, because in his private moments, I think Danny Roll is saying, you know what, I made a mess of that. And then you have the old age pensioner whistling a happy tune at Celtic Park. But he knows the truth of the matter. He knows that Junior Adamu kept Celtic in the Scottish Cup with a very clever goal. And he knows that in midweek, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain kept him in the title race with a very clever goal. But Martin O'Neill knows the truth. The drama is there, but so is the dross. And Celtic have played poorly in both of those games, and the fans know it too.
Before we leave Fir Park behind, Fraser Wishart, you go to Fir Park at the moment. Gordon Dale gave the stats. It is difficult to go. It's a difficult place to go. Rangers going there and drawing is hardly the end of the world, but we're just seeing what is at stake, as Hugh says. It comes 24 hours after Hearts score late to beat Hibs, and it comes almost the same time as the full-time whistle goes at Celtic Park, and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's just scored, and it's a midweek in which Rangers' position has worsened. Is that actually what this is about, rather than a disaster on the night at Fir Park?
Well, I think you've hit the nail on the head, Gordon. In the grand scheme of things, a draw at Fir Park's not that bad, but it's the manner in which it came. I think being a goal up and Motherwell dominating the play, but Rangers chose, I think, to sit back and try and see the game out, which is a dangerous thing to do. And it's an old cliche, but if you look back over the years, the teams that win the Championship score late goals. Hearts scored a late goal, Celtic scored a late goal, not playing well, either of them. And they get there, somehow Rangers lose a late goal, and that must be the one thing that's a wee bit concerning for the Rangers supporters and for Danny Roll, because that was a big 2 points. I think Gordon Dale was talking about earlier on about if Rangers lose, then 8 points is a long way back to lose tomorrow. And let's be honest, you know, it's not as if it's unthinkable. You know, there's every chance they will lose that game, whereas if it goes to 6, it's not so bad. So it's fine margins in this season, and there'll be times when whoever's second and whoever's third, they'll look back and think, that was 2 points dropped at Fir Park when we really should have seen the game out if Rangers don't win it. And that's how tight the title race is this season, which is brilliant. We're loving it. We're absolutely loving it.
And forget the wider picture, David Friel. If you were to just focus on Celtic's story of the season that started with Brendan Rodgers and had Wilfred Nancy and Martin O'Neill's been appointed twice, they sign Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain out of nowhere, and he comes on 13 minutes into his debut and bangs one in the far corner to get what could turn out to be a vital 3 points.
Yeah, what a way to make a first impression. I'm just thinking, actually, Hugh's statement, the drama and the dross, would be a good name for a book for Celtic season. Look, it was an incredible introduction for him. I just felt it was a moment of class, Gordon. His touch to take the ball out of his body and then bend it into the corner, and Celtic should have been out of sight within 10 minutes. I mean, they could have easily been 4-0 up within 10 minutes. They didn't. They got the first goal and then they're pegged back, and it can't go on. You know, Celtic, as I said earlier, they're finding a way to win, but they need to start killing teams off, because I think they've been guilty of missing a lot of chances. Martin O'Neill has supplemented his strike force, but I still don't think he really knows what his first choice front three is. I think Dalziel is a bit of a concern just now. I don't think he's been effective at all. Playing off the left, Tenetke has. So does Maida get back through the middle? Does he stick with Fanchara? There's so many questions for him. And then also Oxlade-Chamberlain, what kind of role does he play going forward? With Arne Engels, it looks as if he's going to be out for a little while at the very least. Is he going to be up to speed? Can he start tomorrow, for example? I think Celtic will be really careful with him in terms of his minutes, because he's not played very much at all for the last 9 months. But if he can add that little bit of goal dust that he did against Livingston, then he could be a huge contributor for Celtic for the next couple of months.
I don't really know, Roger Hannah, if that goal changes the wider discussion about fitness and durability and all that stuff, but it clearly shows that if there was any doubt about what could still be there for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, that was answered the other night.
Absolutely. Listen, I don't think anyone doubted his quality. Just look at his CV and the things he's won with Arsenal, with Liverpool, with Besiktas, the 35 caps and the goals for England, etc. You can't question his ability. It was just his durability, really, and whether or not he would be able to come in and make a meaningful contribution between now and the end of the season. The goal was terrific, and a fantastic strike to win the game. We'll just need to wait and see, is that enough? Is he ready to start on the synthetic surface at Kilmarnock tomorrow? Is he getting kept in reserve? He's not in the European squad, so he won't feature in either game against Stuttgart. After that, it's a difficult run. I think Celtic, home to Hibs, then they go to Aberdeen, then they go to Ibrox. So I think you'll see Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain just being sort of bled in gently by Martin O'Neill.
Right, come on then, let's cut to the chase. Tomorrow, Hugh Keevins, who wins, or is it a draw, at Ibrox?
It's a win for Rangers.
So gap cut to 2 points.
For me, yes.
Okay.
And Kilmarnock beat Celtic.
Kilmarnock win the game?
Yeah.
Wow. Cammy?
I'm going to say wins for Rangers and Celtic tomorrow.
So a day that belongs to Glasgow and damages Hearts. But Hearts will still be top.
Yep, but it tightens everything right in at the top.
The way Hearts are going, I can see Hearts picking up a draw, and I fancy Celtic to beat Kilmarnock.
Is a draw that doesn't end Rangers' title hopes, does it? No. If it's a draw,
no.
Would a Hearts win end it? Do you think? Go to 8.
I think it'd obviously put Hearts in a very comfortable position.
Come on, that's obvious. I need that neck to be stuck out.
Listen, it's exciting because we're talking about the Motherwell game. If Rangers had to win tomorrow, 4 points out the 6 points out they took 4 out of 6 out of 2 games, would have been a good few days for them. If Hearts win tomorrow and go 8 in front of Rangers, I don't see that gap getting close. I think a point apiece maybe tomorrow for Rangers Hearts.
I keep repeating it, Roger Hannah, there is only one man in Scottish football history that has won 3 away games against the Old Firm in a single season, and it was Sir Alex Ferguson. Derek McInnes can join that club tomorrow. Do you think he will? And what will it all mean come the end of the day?
I have a feeling it'll be the status quo. I think there could be 2 draws tomorrow. I think Kilmarnock are now a really good run of form at home. I think they'll cause Celtic problems, and I just fancy a low scoring draw at Ibrox. I'm not sure. The argument about Chermiti is one we all know, whether it's him, whether it's Naderi, whether it's Miovski. I'm not sure Rangers are equipped to start smashing goals past people, so I would fancy a low scoring draw at Ibrox, and I suspect a draw at Rugby Park, and everything stays the same.
It does arithmetically, but also kind of doesn't, because that suits Hearts, doesn't it? Hearts would, Hearts is, with every game you tick off, if the points don't change, Hearts get closer to the title ultimately.
And I think Derek McInnes will appreciate that, and he'll also know that with each passing game, Lawrence Shanklin, Cammy Devlin, etc. are closer to a return to the team. So if it is 2 draws tomorrow, or even if it's a draw at Ibrox and a Celtic win at Kilmarnock, I think Derek McInnes will be quietly content with his weekend's work.
David Friel, it's going to be Sunday.
It will be Sunday, Gordon. So much to look forward to. I'm going to go for, it's a must-win game for Rangers. I think they will win it, and it's a must-win game for Celtic, and I think they will win it.
Okay, another one that thinks it belongs to Glasgow tomorrow. That would be interesting, Fraser. I mean, if that was, because again, we're talking about everything being heightened. This would be seen as some sort of blow to Hearts, or Hearts would come in for some sort of criticism. But they've not lost a single game to Celtic or Rangers this season. That's remarkable. If you take a step back, the chances of them going completely undefeated against Celtic and Rangers across a season is slim. So there would be no shame in it. But again, we're all up to high dough, as the phrase goes.
It's brilliant we're talking about it, Gordon, and you're talking about Hearts going to Ibrox, and it's not a certain win for Rangers. I think Hearts will get something from the game. I think Celtic will beat Kilmarnock, and that'll be a real test then for Rangers. Can they start to close that back? But if Hearts lose it and Celtic win as well, I think for the first time in a long time, they've been top of the table for months, and they've not really really breathing down their neck. It's always been a game in hand here, a game in hand there, or 6 points, 5 points. But now they've got Celtics that are breathing down their neck with that game in hand, and that just brings an extra pressure. But it's fascinating, and I was just thinking ahead to after the split when you're talking about all the games and winning 3 away games in Glasgow, etc. The way it should be is that Rangers would have to go to Tynecastle. I think Celtic would have Hearts at Celtic Park. So all these little things play into people's minds. But for me, I think Hearts will get a draw, and I think Celtic will win by a couple of goals. So it'll be all to play for after that.
20 weeks exactly today, Hearts have been top of the table since. It is quite a run, and it won't come to an end tomorrow, but the picture could look very different indeed. Let's park that for now. We go back around the grounds ahead of today's 3 o'clock games next.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
15 minutes away from kick-off. In fact, less than that. We're getting closer indeed. 3 massive games, particularly around the issue of the playoff place in the Scottish Premiership. A couple of teams involved today might have higher aspirations. You look at Hibs and Roger Hannah, you just wonder how critical this period is for them. The focus obviously goes to Hearts winning it the other night, and Hibs didn't do a lot wrong. There was nothing in the game. It wasn't a great game, but they lost the derby. They still have to listen to all the discussion about their city rivals being top of the table and in the hunt, which will always just make their position seem worse. But Falkirk are right there with them. If Falkirk were to finish above Hibs, it feels like David Gray's fan club might dwindle a little bit.
Yeah, it's really interesting what's going on through here just now. I spoke to a friend of mine who lives through here in Edinburgh through the week, Gordon, and I was discussing Hibernian with him, after the derby defeat, and he said what you said. They didn't play badly. They didn't really do much wrong. They've had really good moments this season. They've just banked £7 million for Kieran Bowie. They're looking good off the field. They're looking decent on the field. If Hearts were 7th or 8th in the league, it would be everything fantastic at Easter Road. The biggest problem Hibs have got is that Hearts might win the league. And everything that Hibs are doing at the minute is weighed against how well their city rivals are going. And they may well qualify for Europe this season, Hibernian. But if Hearts win the league, or Hearts make a really good fist of it and get to the last day of the season, or the last couple of weeks of the season, that doesn't reflect well on Hibs, and that's their biggest problem at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke a bit about St Mirren earlier, didn't we, and going there. And how do you think Stephen Robinson's handling all this? Because at the start, he was very critical on a few occasions. Then it feels like he flipped a little bit and was really trying to hammer the positives about the unbeaten run, even though a lot of it were draws. He's got a bit of injury crisis to deal with as well. This must be difficult for him, who's had a lot of success at St Mirren.
Absolutely, and I think this day was always going to come. It's unsustainable for St Mirren to finish in the top 6 every single season, just with the budgets they've got, etc. And they've been in the top 6 the last 3 years. This is probably the year they're going to tumble out it, obviously, but they've won a cup for the first time in a dozen years or 13 years as well. So it has been a successful season. It would only become an unsuccessful season were it to be sucked down to 11th place. But to answer your question, how Stephen Robinson handling that, I spoke to him through the week, and I actually thought he was surprisingly upbeat. He's citing things like the return of Mark O'Hara from injury, who's on the bench today. I don't think Jonah Ayunga, who scored 2 goals in the final against Celtic. I don't think he's far off. He's back training again. I think Keanu Bacchus is ahead of schedule. They've got Jake Young, who came in from Stevenage in the January window. He's back from suspension today. So I think there was a bit of comfort there for Stephen Robinson that he knew some of his big hitters were coming back for a crucial run of games.
Yeah, looking forward to that one for sure. Dundee against Livingston. David Freeland, always slightly wary of making too much or being too patronising when a team goes to, say, Celtic Park and does quite well but loses the game anyway, and it's an entirely different tactical challenge against the other teams round about them. But I'll contradict it for a moment, because under our old pal Marvin Bartley, Livy did look different the other night.
Yeah, they did. I think Davy Martindale, I think traditionally Gordon and Livy have always been seen as being this big, physical, hard team to beat. I think under Davy, they've sort of kind of transformed themselves into not being that at all. They play quite a lot of football. I think Marvin's clearly decided to go down a different path in terms of there's a bit more strength in the team. He's got 3 centre-halves in today along with Montano and Dan Finlayson. I think he will approach it a bit differently. I don't think he'll maybe play as much football as Davy was maybe trying to play. And as you say, it's a totally different tactical challenge. They just had to stay in the game. They had to ride out that early storm from Celtic and then hope to get something up the other end. Robin Newhead obviously delivered that with the penalty, and I think you could see the look in all the players' faces. They put so much into that game, and they were just demoralised as soon as Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain scores. But they have to lift themselves for today against a Dundee team that, as we spoke about earlier, just can't score a goal. I mean, they're the low scorers in the Premier League. Only 19 goals they've scored. And I'm looking at it just now, their squad statistics. Clark Robertson is Dundee's top goal scorer. He's a centre-half, he's got 4 goals. The one next to him is Ryan Astley, another centre-half with 3 goals. Can you imagine the end of season Player of the Year awards when Clark Robertson's going up to get top scorer with 5 or 6 goals? It's incredible. So Stephen Pressley has been pretty clear in this. He feels his team are doing so much good stuff. He was happy with him against Celtic. He was actually happy with him against Falkirk. Obviously Jan Danda misses the penalty kick, but they need to find a cutting edge, because for all their good players like Cam Congreve, Tony Ugan and all these guys, they just don't score goals.
Do they have a Simon Murray predicament where last season he got rave reviews and he deserved them and he was such a handful? Where is the balance this season between him not being anywhere near as good and maybe to cut him some slack, just not quite suiting what Stephen Pressley wants to do? But, because he's scrambling around trying to find solutions, he sometimes does play, sometimes doesn't. I know he's in the starting 11 today.
Yeah, he's captaining the team today. Yeah, I think it's a bit of both probably. I think the way Stephen Pressley wants to play probably doesn't suit Simon Murray's style. He got 22 goals last season, he's got 3 so far this season, and I just think that drop off is too much for a Dundee team to cope with. They've got nobody else really to come in and Ashley Hay was doing okay, scored the Derby winner, etc. He's injured just now. They just don't have another talisman. They don't really have a number 9 you can really go and hang your hat on. And I think Stephen Pressley today knows that this is a huge game. This is the kind of game that last season Simon Murray would have scored 2 or 3 in. He was the one that would always deliver for them, and that's why they stayed up. But he needs to get back to scoring. He remains a hugely significant figure at the club. He's the leader, he's the captain, all that, but he needs to get back to scoring just like the full team does. Yeah,
the Simon Murray for Scotland calls we used to get seemed like a while ago, I must say. Over to the Falkirk Stadium to round off this section, Fraser. I actually remember working the first weekend of the season at this exact fixture, Falkirk Dundee United, and there was so much intrigue around how Falkirk would cope, if you like, because they'd done so well on their back-to-back promotions, and that day Dundee United, to show the difference in both teams at that point, were in between European games. But you look at the journey since then, just take a moment to celebrate Falkirk again.
Well, totally, and you're looking around the ground, Gordon, now as well, and the 2 stands that Falkirk usually have are full, and they've taken up half of the away stand as well, because people just want to come and watch them. You think of the 5 years in League 2 and all the shenanigans that went on for many years of this club, who are a really good club in a good town, and the people are just right behind us because it's interesting, it's entertaining, it's exciting, and it's just about momentum. And I was looking there, I think there's about 11 of the squad of 20 have been here. Many of them have been here for 2 years, a couple of years for the Championship as well. So most of the squad have been through that whole journey, as are the supporters. And John McGlynn, it's just, I said earlier, he just seems to be a bit more relaxed now. So I think everybody tipped him to be bottom. I think I said 10th, some people saying relegated. I'm sure in John's wildest dreams he didn't really expect his team to be 6th, and so comfortably 6th, and chasing Hibs for Europe. But that's what they're doing now, so they can just relax and enjoy it. And a team like that, when you're a Falkirk team and you play good football, you're a dangerous team, and this is a dangerous game for Dundee United to go into a real tough spell of games.
I don't mean to overstate it, but it feels like they've got a bit of everything, Fraser, because they got praise for playing a certain way and coming up, and then again that fed the questions about whether they would be able to sustain it, and they have, but only at times, and they mix it up and they do different things when they have to, and they defend really well. The sort of job that John McGlynn has done there, and credit to his coaching staff as well. Stephen McGinn obviously is in there and just done an excellent job.
Yeah, and they've got a goal threat. I think that's the biggest thing they've got, is they look dangerous. They do lose a lot of goals, and I think the goal difference is -2, because they do lose goals from time to time, but they won a couple of games recently without being at their best, talking to Falkirk fans here as well, which again is a good sign, because they're not playing brilliantly, but they're getting through there as well. And their big threat is Calvin Miller. I've seen Falkirk 6-7 times this season. I've seen him quite a lot, and every single game he is on it, and he tests defenders. If you get the better of Calvin Miller, even on a 1-on-1 on one occasion, you have to be at your best, and he makes defenders defend very, very well. And I actually wonder, is it daft to think he might have a real outside chance of getting a wee chance for Scotland? It's a position where we don't have a lot of players. We don't have many wide players. Gannon Doak's the one. Ryan Christie gets shifted out a wee bit sometimes as well, but is he an outside chance of maybe getting a wee go in the warm-up games as well, because he's fast, he's quick, he's direct. He might just be a random player we could take to the World Cup and throw on, because he's got something, and that's exciting for the Falkirk supporters. But United, I just think this is a dangerous game for them. I think they'll lose, and this is the start of, they hope 9 games, because they beat Spartans in midweek at home in the Cup, then they've got another Cup tie here in March the 6th. They've got 9 games in 5 weeks, and see if you're not playing well and you're on a run of losing 5 and the games are coming thick and fast. That's what Roger and I were meaning earlier on about they could sleepwalk into this as well, and one of those games is against St Mirren, the game's in hand as well, which could be a really interesting one in March. So fascinating game today. I think Falkirk will come out on top.
That is it, the scene is set. 3 fantastic fixtures coming up in the top flight. We'll keep an eye on the games down the divisions as well, and check your calendar. It's by no accident we've assembled 3 of the most romantic men you would find anywhere in Hugh Keevins, Cammy Bell and Gordon Dalziel. So you know the drill. Are we lacking originality? Possibly. Do we do this every year? Certainly. Does everybody else do it every year? Absolutely. Roses are red and you do the rest. At Clyde SSB, you can be as harsh as you want on the pundits. It can be an ode to Scottish football. Maybe keep it about this season or something topical. You decide. Roses are red, and we'll hear from you next.
The fastest goals, the expert opinions. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Kick-off's underway across our featured 3 o'clock matches, 3 in the Premiership. We will keep an eye on the scores down the leagues as well. And as always, I ask a lot of you, you very rarely deliver, but let's try anyway. 3 Premiership matches, your make-believe ACCA, Hugh Keevins.
Falkirk Dundee United draw. Dundee beat Livingston, and the Hibs beat St Mirren.
Nice and simple from me. 3 home wins.
Oh, I'm going to go 3 draws.
What?
Yeah.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get set for the season with expert pharmacy support.
And just like that, we are underway, so stay in touch all afternoon. I put a challenge to you out there before the break. Let's try not be... I'm trying to strike that sweet spot of being insulting but not too insulting. So roses are red and you just do the rest. You can aim them at our pundits. That's what I'm talking about, the insulting bit. Or let's see your real creativity. Just do it about Scottish football, your team, a certain player, your rivals. Probably won't be able to read those ones out, but let's see what we can come up with, just for a bit of fun on a Saturday afternoon. Roses are red and you do the rest. See how I like to leave it open. I'm not even adding the violets or blue.
No,
you just crack on.
Oh, I know what's coming.
What?
I've been in this rodeo many a time. My nose will be getting Dalziel as we speak. I'm telling you now, there'll be people going, right nose, what rising right nose.
Honestly,
nose,
that had not crossed my mind.
Beak. Oh, listen,
I had not even thought of that.
Oh no. But I'll tell you what, there'll be a right few listeners out there thinking about it now.
We'll wait and see, won't we? You can send us a message and let us know what you can come up with.
I hope they're taking into consideration their 3 not the best looking pundits out in the road here today.
I actually got one last night to kick us off, but I thought I'd save it. It was for you and Scott last night. It was Diabetics Together said roses are red, iron bruised ginger. Scott's got good hair, but Hugh's still an old whinger. That was alright from last night. And held it over.
What an opening goal that is.
Early goal in League 2. It's another blow for East Kilbride, who are obviously looking to try and close the gap on Spartans. Annan, Cammy's team, 1 up already against East Kilbride. Paul Smith after 4 minutes.
Poor old Scott Allen, who joined a major club last night.
Oh,
got a lift in the Scott Allen mobile.
Was that his first time taking you? So he took you to your night out, did he?
He took me to meet the Hannah Man and David Friel.
Honestly,
you can blag a lift, can't you?
Oh yeah.
So the thing is, as well, it's the gamble the rest of us take. Scott got into the office first last night, so he got asked for the lift. If I had arrived first, I would have had to. That's just.
That's why.
Would that be accurate?
Yeah. My wife always said that they must call you the hitchhiker in there.
That's why I never do a Friday.
Just stays away. Right, whilst you get your creative juices flowing on the old poetry, look at Eddie's just placed one onto my lap. No. He says, roses are red, violets are blue. It's the first half teaser. Now over to Hugh.
The first half teaser with Archiplan Glasgow. Planning permission and building warrant drawings for home extension, conversion or renovation.
Well, as you know, Scotland are playing England today in something called the Calcutta Cup, whatever that is. So in honour of that rugby match, can you tell me the last 6 players to score for Scotland against England in the proper game, association football? Who were the last 6 Scottish players to score against England in what is the time frame? No time frame.
Just the last. Okay.
Yeah, the last 6 to score for Scotland against England.
Right, quickly, at Clyde SSB, answer that question if you can. We've got one of these already.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Dundee 1, Livingston 0, and it's Simon Murray. We can take the credit for that. We said he needed to start scoring goals. It's his first since September. It's a corner, then a close range volley. Brilliant start for him and for Dundee. Bad start for Marvin Bartley. It's his first goal, like we said, since September, when he scored against Livy last time.
Yeah, great start for Dundee. Bad start for Livy. I was listening to David talking about Marvin putting his own spin on it, going with 3 centre backs today, try to tighten up the defence. I don't know where that got him.
That went well.
Yeah, Simon Murray, listen, you can't fault his work rate, but I think David's right. If Dundee are going to get out of this pressure of being finished in 11th, they've got to get somebody to hit the back of the net. I think from the back up until the front, they're actually okay. I think they're decent enough to pick up points. It's just, can they get someone like Simon Murray to find that bit of form just now?
Right away, it puts St Mirren under pressure.
Yeah.
As things stand, it puts St Mirren under greater pressure. They have to match whatever Dundee are doing. Otherwise, by 5 o'clock tonight, we'll be talking about Dundee being above St Mirren and St Mirren being third bottom.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Is there a statement about Dundee buses? I don't know if that counts the same. Simon Murray has scored again.
Wow.
Dundee have scored again. We were criticising his goal output. We said Dundee were the lowest scorers in the league. All true, but they've doubled their advantage. It's a great header this time from Cameron Congreve's cross, and my word, Marvin Bartley has his work cut out. It is Dundee 2, Livingston 0.
By general consensus, Livy did well against Celtic at Celtic Park.
I was there, they did.
And inside 5 minutes, they're 2 down in Dundee. I'm afraid there are no other words to be said. They're relegated.
Can we go roses or red, violets or blue? By Tuesday night, Big Marv will be in the studio with you.
And I'm not just saying this because he's our pal. They were probably down already. That's that was what everybody's been saying for weeks. But that doesn't mean this is okay. 5 minutes gone, 2 goals down.
Nah, it's a really poor start for Livingston, but again, it's probably a sign of intent that Stephen Presley wanted to put out there. Start fast, try and get that goal. We speak about Simon Murray, scored so many goals last season. I seen him do an article a couple of weeks ago where he said this is the first time this season he feels as if he's injury free. He's been playing with a lot of injuries this season, niggles, where he's just been trying to get on with it to try and help the team with a new situation, new manager coming in, being under pressure. So listen, we might see the best of Simon Murray between now and the end of the season. Certainly Dundee is going to need it, but this is a massive result for them.
Oh, it's a blistering start for Dundee. 2-0 up already, Hugh.
Yeah, and I go back to St Mirren. I mean, I don't know if news of these goals will be relayed to Stephen Robinson, but I think they should. It puts them under tremendous pressure because, as I say, Dundee will be above St Mirren tonight unless St Mirren win at Easter Road.
Wow, it's a fairly gentle start so far. Roses are red, violets are blue, Daz is a roaster, and so is Hugh. I think they think it's a bit easy because Hugh rhymes with blue.
Yeah,
there's going to be loads of them. Roses are red, violets are blue. Gordon Dalziel doesn't have a clue. That's too basic.
Right.
You're not even didn't bring your nose into that. Kev, Alex.
Alex.
Ray.
Right.
Roses are red, I hate green. Doon Nixton Hamilton is where Dazzler was seen, apparently. Is that where you shop? Is that where you buy your clothes? Nixton Hamilton. Jamie claims to have seen you.
Yeah, I was in there yesterday.
There you go.
Yeah.
Spotted.
Oh,
what
right.
section were you in? Valentine's Day.
No,
I know where you were lurking.
No, I told you I've got a phobia now with buying jumpers. I go and buy.
Well, that's not what phobia means.
Well,
it's the opposite, like an addiction or something.
It's
an addiction.
Addiction.
He buys a new jumper every day at the moment.
Every day.
I'm
weeks.
I'm terrible, mate.
That's definitely not a phobia.
There's something.
It's literally the opposite.
There's something.
I wouldn't bother about someone seeing you in Next because it's 24-hour surveillance. Gordon went for a walk along the canal last night. A man called in SuperScoreBoard to say he'd seen him.
First caller last night. I was passed you in the canal, so I thought I'd phone in.
As long as you weren't
he said
get caught short.
He said I wanted to I just wanted to apologise.
You were squatting?
Wanted to apologise. What? Why does your mind go there? He said I wanted to apologise for having blood on me. Oh, okay. You see some characters down there. There was one guy who kept cycling past me. He would stop, I'd pass him, and he just kept shouting, I used to work with you in Helensburgh. Which is just entirely untrue, obviously. I don't know who he meant, who he thought I was or whatever. But every time he just kept shouting at me, I used to work with you in Helensburgh. Funnily enough, speaking of which, Nixton Hamilton, that was my first ever job. There you go.
Was it?
A wee bit of retail when I finished school.
What were you just hanging out the jumpers and the clothes?
Just behind the tills, whatever.
Do you do the tills as well?
Oh, of course.
I was going to buy a shop once, and I went into train to do the customer service and the till and all that kind of.
What?
Yeah, this is true.
What kind of shop?
Just a shop next to the railway station out in Newton Mills.
What?
I was
selling what?
They selling what?
Everything. Yeah, listen, I would have been discreet if you come in, Hugh.
No, but you need to give us more. like sort of snacks and newspapers and stuff. Right. So not everything then.
Well, I wasn't going to sell designer clothes or anything.
Okay. That's what we were trying to establish.
Yeah, but
seriously.
Yeah, true. That was one of my ideas.
Imagine.
I've had
pain in the neck he would have been.
Oh, it'd be great. Everybody had rushed in for a bit of chat, making their coffees and before they went on the train. I was looking forward to it, but it fell through. I didn't have enough money.
Or any money. But there we go. Right, we've had a busy start in the goal scoring front, only at Dundee though, and only for Simon Murray. He's eating it all up for himself at the moment. Dundee 2, Livy 0. Simon Murray at the
Come
double.
on, mention it, Gordon.
To tell you about, you want former.
Yes.
Do we go back to calling him former Motherwell man, former Celtic man? David Turnbull has scored to put Cardiff 1 up against Luton. Nice right-footed finish into the bottom corner. I just sporadically read you.
You just made that up, didn't you? Because that's his finish.
No, I didn't.
How do you?
Because I just showed you it in the telly.
Oh, did it? Okay. I thought that's brilliant. You just made that up.
No. Why would I do that?
Yeah. By the way, I'll tell you, it's the first time I've ever been jealous of Wishart, Frail and Hannah, because they must be warmer out there than we are in here.
Oh yeah.
It is freezing in the studio.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
I think it's the opposite.
Better temperature today.
I'm struggling in here. Right, get your answers in that first half teaser as well. We're asking for your Valentine's Day poetry, which I usually regret by about 3:20. So we're nearly there. Once I see some of the the ones that can't be read out. I think, why did I do this for the 10th year in a row? But you'll only live once. Let's see what happens. On the subject of Scotsmen scoring and reading you out random results, see, we get the old, and again, to link it into Valentine's Day for anyone who's getting a knockback tonight, we've got the Harvey Barnes knockback.
Yeah. Well, I think that's perfectly allowable, because he'd only be playing the part of a kiddie on Scot. So he decided that he'd rather not impersonate a Scot, he'd rather be a legitimate English cap, because he's English. So Stevie Clark was right to ask the question. Harvey Barnes was perfectly entitled to say no thank you.
Do you think he'll go to the World Cup in England?
No.
Right.
No,
so me personally, I think an opportunity as a player to go and play in the World Cup, I would have probably taken Scotland up in their offer. There you go.
Well, I just think that, you know, the international football changed when the parental and grandparental rule came in. You know, countries are full of players. I know Jack Charlton with the Republic of Ireland in the 90s, and it was wonderfully successful for the Republic. But you're kidding on that you're something.
So you believe that you should get back to, if you're born in Scotland, you can play with Scotland?
No, listen, it's also a different world now as well. It's not just like the rules were introduced for a laugh. It's a different world. People move everywhere and marry people and have families in different countries, and that's why it came about.
If you are Lyndon Dykes, for example, and you are an Australian who happens to have a route into the national team of Scotland, fine. But Harvey Barnes preferred not to take that route, and that's his prerogative.
Yeah, well, listen, we've already got a number of players who aren't Scottish in the squad, and I think the question was he willing to do us a turn and come into the squad? And for me, again, you look at his ability, what he can bring. He's something different. I would have absolutely loved him to went to the World Cup, but he's made his decision, and I'm quite happy he's made his decision just now. It's not going to drag on. There's not going to be loads of questions building up to the World Cup. Steve Clark can just focus on the squad that he wants to take, and the Harvey Barnes situation's been put to bed.
And at the end of the day, he did nothing to get us there. So we got there without him.
I mean, the bit of stardust of that extra quality would have been appreciated, I'm sure. But there is a bit of that.
Because we want to do well at the World Cup. Again, we went to the Euros, and then a huge amount of criticism came our way, or certainly Steve Clark's way, because we didn't put on them good performances. We could have done a lot better. So again, you would have loved him to go for his quality that he's got, but as I say, decisions made, it's put to bed, and that's it.
Go on, read it out. I can see you laughing. I've worked with you too long. I can see you try to hold it. He was sniggering.
Are you trying to say that if I go quiet, you know there's something wrong?
No, it was a sniggering.
There's loads, honestly.
I can imagine.
There really is. Rosie's a red. Marriage is for life, unless you're the Dazzler. He's on his 9th. What else have we got? That. There are loads and loads. I like this from Michael as well, because it just doesn't rhyme. There's absolutely no attempt. You had a very simple task and Michael is not interested. Roses are red, violets are blue, DL loves the sunbeds, and Hugh's a specky weapon. Really rhyme, Michael. This is good from Michael. Right, we've finally got one for you that you requested, but there's a bit of thought going in this. Subtle. Noses are red, violets are blue, the Dazzler's being para. It's not about you.
Good on him.
But he did say noses are red, so there we go. Anyway,
like it.
Roses are red, Cammy's in gold, DL's on the course. Question is, what hole? See, these are quite gentle, I would say, some of them, but we'll leave it that way for now. Keep your answers coming into the first half teaser as well. And Roger Hanna says roses are red, violets are blue, St Mirren go close, it's Dan Lindeloo. He's even delivering his updates.
Like it, Rog.
There is another goal in Dundee.
Please no.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
They're back in it. It's 2-1 to Dundee. Lewis Smith with the turn and finish on 15 minutes, and my goodness, did Marvin Bartley need that one. 15 minutes gone. They were 2-0 down, but they have shown a bit of character. They've got themselves back into things, so it's game on. 2-1 to Dundee. Lewis Smith with Livy's turn and finish inside the box,
and plenty of time left to go after the equaliser, if not a winner. So that is the place to be right now. David Friel has won the watch so far.
Did anyone think Dundee Livy would be such a good game this afternoon?
No. I thought my 3 draws were right out the window after about 5 minutes. But well done to Marv, showing a wee bit of spirit there, back in the game. Davey putting his earpiece back in as we speak. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
No, it's a brilliant response, as you say, character, because again, when you go 2-0 down so early in a game away from home, you can quite easily collapse. Looks as if Livingston haven't done that. They've given us all, listen, a huge amount of hope, because a long time in that game to go. As Hugh says, there's enough time to go and turn that completely around and get a winner. I couldn't possibly. I'm really torn. I'm in a sticky spot because I don't want Marvin to want him to be successful. Don't want him to lose his job. But surely everybody's a wee bit interested to see if Davey becomes the interim manager if and when Marvin moves on. For whatever reason.
Here's a picture. Here's a book. They'll get relegated. Davey will sack him for getting relegated. Go interim manager, win a few games in the Championship, and announce yourself as manager again, and then in 3 months later bring him back in as assistant. Game over.
We will have plenty of water to pass under the bridge before then. Hugh, remind us of your teaser if you can.
Yes, as I say, the Calcutta Cup match between Scotland and England taking place today in honour of that. Can you tell me the last 6 players to score for Scotland against England in the FIPA?
Right, get your guesses in at Clyde SSB. There are not a lot of wrong answers so far. Not everyone's got the full list, but most people are getting there or thereabouts. So there is a race on. It's at Clyde SSB to get it onto the podium. Send us your answers, please. Oh, this is another big goal.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
1-0 Falkirk, and for the second game in succession, it's Ben Broggio, the Aston Villa loanee, signed on deadline day, got his first ever senior goal during the week in that game against Dundee. He's obviously got it in for teams from Tayside because he's scored again. He was set up by Barney Stewart, low shot across the goal and into the net. So well done Falkirk.
Must be a job in recruitment for John McGinn when he stops playing, because he was the one who recommended Ben Broggio to his brother Stephen McGinn, who is on the coaching staff at Falkirk, of course. And what a spot that has been. 2 goals in 4 days. Wonderful.
Yeah, brilliant goal again for Falkirk. They're doing so well this season. It's nothing less than expected. Today, this afternoon, was to get that win. I know it's early on, but it's a really good start for them. They're so consistent. They're a very, very good team, and again, worrying times for Dundee United.
Oh, very, very close. Oh, listen to this.
2-2. Go on.
With M&D Green Pharmacy.
What a game. What a comeback already from Livingston. It is 2-2. 2-0 down within about 10 minutes.
5 minutes.
And they've pulled it back already to 2-2. Scott Pittman, Mr. Livingston. McCracken caught the ball. He was caught on the ball, sorry. Pittman puts it into an empty net. And do you know what? They actually had a chance in between as well that they thought they had scored and managed to pass up through Macaulay Tate. This is an incredible comeback. 2-2 already with only 20 minutes on the clock.
In the ever-changing picture at Dens Park, can you imagine what the crowd are giving Stephen Presley?
Yeah, I mean, it's just an incredible response, as you say, from Livingston, going 2-0 down. And again, we're speaking about that's probably them done, and such a big result for Dundee. But yeah, they're showing a huge amount of character and fight under Big Marv.
Marv's the manager of the month at this rate.
Great game though, first of all.
Yeah, no, I'll not be finished. Let's not be kidded there. 2-2. Both defences on top of the
sounds as if the goalie made a real hash of it. So yes, it's probably a gift, but again, seems as if Livingston have got the energy to go after it and try and get that goal, but right back in the game.
East Kilbride are right back in the game down at Annan.
Yeah, Annan won, East Kilbride won. Connor Young with the goal there.
Good for the chauffeur.
Yep, Scott Allen and the coaching staff.
Yep.
And level.
You're supposed to, when you look at Dundee Livingston prior to kick-off, you think, oh, tense, nervous, anxiety, and they're just having a great time. 4 goals in 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's been brilliant so far, and I was going to say, will we get a winner? It's like too early to utter that phrase, so we'll check in. Or maybe it's one of those that then quietens down after a blockbuster start, but we will see. 2-2 at the moment. Great game so far. Falkirk are 1-up against Dundee United. What about Hibs against St Mirren? Oh, very quiet there, not much happening, goalless, and no real chances to tell you about.
Oh, I think the Hibs crowd, you know, They may have played well against Hearts, but they lost. And the Hibs crowd,
also, with no offence, I wouldn't say they played well.
No,
I would say they weren't any worse than Hearts.
Yeah.
I don't think you could say they played well, did they?
I think on the rebound from a defeat, as I say, bottom line, they lost the Edinburgh Derby, and the bottom line again, that when you play the next time out at home against St Mirren, who cannot buy a win, then the crowd will be getting.
Must be a frustration, Cammy, because over the so they won one of the derbies and won it quite well.
Yep.
The two that they've lost at Tynecastle, there was very little in the game. They weren't inferior across the two games, yet they've lost two. That big gap that Hearts have over them, 6 points of that comes in the derby, and that comes with the sort of bragging rights and so on as well. But ultimately, there's only kind of one stat that matters come the end of the season, and it is what that column looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, as you say, fine margins. It wasn't, I wouldn't particularly say that any of them played really, really well. I've seen them both a lot better this season, but again, it's all about Hearts getting the result. So Hugh's right, they need to react well today. Again, you look at Falkirk are winning, so they've leapfrogged them in the league at this moment in time. So Hibs are currently sitting 6th. For me, that's not good enough, because what the Hibs fans will look at is Falkirk and Motherwell. I know Motherwell have been exceptional this season, but as clubs, all the Hibs fans see them much, much bigger clubs than them too.
Oh,
here's one for you, as Mr. Motherwell.
Yeah.
Are you worried about Falkirk catching you?
No.
You know, everyone's talking
Really?
about everyone's talking about Motherwell looking up the way.
No.
What about Falkirk?
Incredible. Listen, I can't speak highly enough about Falkirk. I think I've got Falkirk, I think an 11th or 12th. No, 11th. I thought Livingston would get relegated. Falkirk have been outstanding. I'm loving their football. I love everything about them.
What are they going to go within 2 of Motherwell today?
Yeah, but Motherwell will turn Aberdeen over tomorrow.
You sure?
Yeah, 100%. I'm not going, unfortunately.
Do you think Falkirk will finish above Hibs?
They could. I think Falkirk are a real entertaining team. I think at home they're absolutely brilliant, but I just think Motherwell are too good a side. And plus the fact, yes, they lost a goal against Rangers midweek. Up until then,
they've been good.
No goals in 9 games.
Motherwell haven't beaten Falkirk this season.
Hold on, they've lost the fewest goals in the league so far, Motherwell. So no, I don't. As much as I think they'll put pressure on Motherwell, no, I don't think they'll catch them.
Okay, just asking. Never mind. At Clyde SSB, remember, if you want to get your Valentine's poetry over, your roses are red, or if you want to take part in that first half teaser, which a lot of you are having quite a lot of success with.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's not one of our more difficult ones. I think we went quite hard on you a couple of weeks ago, so thought we'd make it a bit easier this afternoon. How many do you have, incidentally, Gordon Dale?
I've forgotten.
You're not focused really on the...
I'll do the afternoon one. It's a rugby at Murrayfield. That was a big one I went to as well, wasn't it? That's my only Calcutta Cup game ever.
Did you enjoy it?
I left 15 minutes into the game, mate. It was absolutely rotten.
Stephen says Roses are red, Glasgow is blue. Wonder what team he supports. Trimiti only has 4, but he scored the main 2. We hark back to the...
Do you know, that's what I think he gets away with, because Rangers fans love that. But
that's not enough, though.
I watched them the other night.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Falkirk 1, Dundee United 1. It's the skipper, it's Ross Graham, who scores to level things up. I said earlier on there was a great 2-2 draw between these sides on the opening weekend. Let's see what this one can produce this afternoon. It's already up to a nice start. A high ball in the air in the box. Scott Bain came and dropped it. Cammy Bell, I can't remember if it was on air or off air, but we were talking about Scott Bain earlier and saying how well he's done, and he has.
Yeah.
But he's come and dropped the ball, and Ross Graham scores.
Yeah, it sounds as if it's another goalkeeping mistake. We spoke about McCracken and Dundee letting Livingston back into the game, but Scott Bain's been excellent this season as well, so I don't want to criticise him too much, but certainly sounds like a simple catch that he's got wrong, and he's gifted Dundee United a way back into the game.
And a bit of drama around the goalkeeping department, because he was ill in the warm-up the other night.
Yeah.
He was replaced, and Nicky Hogarth, who was part of the promotion team, and he was excellent and found himself without any football because Scott Bain came in and did well, but now Scott Bain's made a mistake.
And again, Nicky Hogarth, I felt as if he had a really good game. He certainly had a save towards the end of the game in the top left hand corner that he produced, which was a very good save. I know he gave away the penalty, but Dundee don't score from that, so listen, Scott Bain was always going to go back in because he's had such a consistent season, but yeah, it's a little bit of a blow that for Falkirk.
Simon Murray's now had a shot over the bar from a tight angle, and then Livy have gone up the other end and gone close. It's like a basketball game.
That's a great game.
David Freeman.
It's a great game up there. Just two teams having a go. They know how important the 3 points are. 4 goals already. Brilliant.
Just to go back to the goalkeeping situation, Cammy, if you were Nicky Hogarth, would you have felt that you were entitled to play today?
No. I think because it was his first game of the season, and I think when you look at Scott Bain as an out and out number one at Falkirk, he's been excellent as well, very, very consistent. Probably, again, when I looked at the goalkeepers in the league this season, I would say Scott Bain's up there, probably with Ward at Motherwell as the 2 top goalkeepers, consistent performers this season. So yeah, I think when you're that number 2 now as Nicky is, I think you expect Scott to go straight back in.
I agree with that. I do.
Listen, there's a much more extreme example, which is look at what Craig Gordon came in and did, and he's Craig Gordon, and still Alexander Schwolow is the Hearts number 1.
Yeah, Cammy's spot on. Scott Bain was always got to come straight back into the number 1 berth, so I'm not surprised with that. Yes, he's made a mistake, but tell me any goalkeeper in that league this year that's not made more than 2, 3, 4 mistakes.
Yeah.
Goalkeeping this season, in my opinion, has been shocking.
I would say,
apart from, I think Mull goalkeeper.
No, but he did make mistakes at the start. But it's been a while. I would say it's at least been a while for Callum Ward.
Tynecastle 3-3.
Didn't have a great game at Tynecastle. He dropped across against Kilmarnock at home when Motherwell should have won the game.
They were all in really close proximity as well, so, and again, he's recovered really, really well. I like him as a goalkeeper. I don't think he faces a massive amount of shots because Motherwell have been so good and such a possession based team, but again, when he's called upon, he makes big saves. He's excellent with his feet, we all know that.
This is why at CU goalies, I think you get I wasn't going to say too much praise, but see the old stat about how many clean sheets a goalie has. So Callum Ward's got the most clean sheets in the league, and fair play to him, and well done to him. But he doesn't face that many shots.
But so listen, see,
it's the defence that needs the credit.
No, it's the full defence, and the goalkeeper's part of that for me. But see, honestly, listen, what I would say is I've faced it when I was at Kilmarnock, playing in the top flight. You would face 10 shots a game. I found that easier as a goalkeeper than when I went to Rangers and you only faced that one moment and you had to deal with it. So I think you've got to give these guys that aren't getting a lot of shots a huge amount of credit for getting them clean sheets.
Paul Donnelly says roses are red, violets are blue. I was looking forward to June until I remembered Peru. World Cup themed one there. Okay.
I remember that night very well.
Yeah. Do you?
I'd some goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, but what year was that? That was 70.
No, 82. He said, according to the poetry. Anyway, but is that right? No, I don't think
but it was the 70s.
Listen, it's just poetry, guys. Let's not be too deep about it.
Was Ruffy the goalkeeper?
Yeah.
Greg's Gardens. There's a wee World Cup theme coming in here. Roses are red, violets are blue. McTominay scores screamers. Tierney and McLean too. Against Denmark at 78, by the way.
Yeah, because I knew it, but my children were very young. I remember buying them Scotland strips, and they no one could understand why we were losing to Peru.
Really enjoying this Valentine's poetry now, I must admit. David Ewing, this will be the final one for this section. Roses are red, Hugh thinks he's right, Gordon keeps the peace, and DL talks nonsense. Anyway, no other goals to tell you about at the moment.
Are they forgetting there's a guy in the middle here? Surely a lot of rings with Bell. Come on, I could probably come up with a couple.
Lewis Nielsen's now had a looping header off the top of the bar and over as Falkirk look to retake the lead. They've been pegged back there against Dundee United, so some good games.
Yeah, Dundee United, I mean, as I say, the 4 matches prior to going into this one, lost. I mean, it doesn't matter Jim Goodman or anybody else, you can't go on like that. So it's a big afternoon for Dundee United.
Hibs St Mirren, anyone?
I was just about to ask about
anything, any life very happening quiet at Hibs St Mirren? Come on, has somebody turned Roger Hanna's phone off perhaps, or is it just that dull?
Very flat, doesn't it? Again, 2 teams that again, Hibs are obviously suffering after that Derby defeat that they needed to bounce back. There'll be a bit of pressure on them today from their home fans, and then St Mirren, we spoke about them enough.
I like the look of the front two for Hibs as well. You know, Owen Elding, a boy coming from Sligo, and Dane Scarlett from Tottenham, and he looked a player. It's all very surprising. It's as flat as a pancake.
Livy look like they fancy it now.
Oh, come on, Marv. We need a result for them.
Incredible. What a start to the game. It settled down a bit. It wouldn't be hard to imagine that, given how frantic the start was. But 2-2 there now, Dundee against Livingston. So maybe they're making up for the lack of action between Hibs and St Mirren. We can't have it all.
It's now in that situation. It'd be a real dire game if it finished 2-2. You'd be going, what a hopeless game this is.
It's kind of about how it ends, isn't it?
But there'll come a point in the game, though, I think. The longer it stays 2-2, there will come a second half point in the game where both sides will think, do you know what?
A point?
Yeah.
I think Livingston need to, they're in a situation that they need to get 3 points, and I know it's probably beyond them now, and really, really difficult to get out of the position that they're in, but listen, they get 3 points today, you just never know.
I think I fell for the recency bias the other night when I was working at Celtic Livy, because again, there's no emotional attachment there, and you just ended the game and it felt like Celtic had not got away with one, but it was a bit flat. It felt like they maybe hadn't been great. And then when I watched the highlights back, I'd forgotten how many chances they had in the first. It was like the first 5 minutes. Jerome Prior had the busiest 5 minutes of his season so far.
He was good. He had a number of good saves. Celtic they could have been much more clinical. And again, if they get that second goal, it completely changes that game, because Livingston are probably deflated, and then it obviously allows the opportunity where Livingston get the goal from the penalty kick, and it gives them something to hang on to, so it becomes difficult for Celtic. But it certainly looks as if Marv's got a reaction from the players in the last few games.
I think the start that Celtic make tomorrow is important, because it was Martin O'Neill immediately after the game who said it's just not feasible to go on snatching a goal late on to stay in the Scottish Cup, snatching a winning goal to stay in the title race. Celtic have got to be more clinical in front of goal earlier in matches, and that's why they start tomorrow. I go back 15th of September, Kilmarnock Celtic 1-1, and again Celtic snatched it with a penalty in the dying seconds. They've got to go there tomorrow, I think, and be assertive from the word go.
Maybe one for the open line later on. Does anyone think Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain starts the match tomorrow?
No. What did they get the other night? They're 13 minutes. So you're going down to Kilmarnock, and everybody's now talking about it's going to be such a difficult game. On that surface, I would be amazed if he starts tomorrow. But I think they'll start to up his game time, no doubt about it. And I've got to say, I agree with the lads. They were talking about his finish the other night. It was his touch for me that absolutely killed the defence and the goalkeeper. It was brilliant.
I think he'll get a good chunk of the game. I don't think he'll start either.
So what, Ingles out, Hatate in, something like that?
Yeah, I just feel it's probably a little bit too early. Does the pitch play a part in it as well? The decision, probably. I think they've got to take all these things into consideration, but I definitely think he'll get a huge chunk of the game, whether that's 45 or 35 minutes, because they'll want to up his game time. They'll want to get him starting as soon as they can, but they've got to be careful with him as well, because he's going to be such an important player.
Celtic issued financial figures yesterday, highlighting the importance, almost the necessity, of qualifying for the Champions League, because the pre-tax profits of 13.2 million compared to 43.9 million the season before. That's what not being in the Champions League does for you. You lose money, big time.
Well, the race for the Champions League is going to be quite something between now and the end of the season. Tomorrow could play a big part in it. We're looking forward to it. The guys will have you covered tomorrow, and we can preview those matches when the phone lines open round about 5 o'clock tonight as well. In the meantime, we're keeping an eye on today's games. We're asking you for your roses or red poetry for Valentine's Day. We're taking answers on the first half teaser. Remind us, Hugh.
Tell us the last 6 Scots to score against England in honour of the Calcutta Cup match at the rugby. Who were the last 6 Scots to score against England in a football match?
I'm not seeing loads of people getting anything drastically wrong. To be honest, it's maybe just about the number of correct answers that people are getting. Jack has gone Tommy Docherty.
Tommy Docherty?
Tommy Docherty?
I'm just reading out what Jack said.
Tommy Docherty played football in the 1950s.
Where is Jack? The local.
You didn't. You said there was no time frame. It's just the last 6 to do it.
Do you know what, I'll make one observation.
It's got Laurie Riley as well.
Dennis Law.
Genuinely.
Is he? Oh,
No.
send Jack up the road.
But
sorry, Jack. I appreciate you getting in touch, even if this lot are rude.
No, producer Ryan made a very, very good point.
Oh? This
covers the goal scorers, the last 6 to score against England, covers a 40-year period. That's how infrequently we score against England. The last 6 go back 40 years.
We don't play them that often, for goodness sake. Scott Connie's showing off a bit. The last goal Scotland scored against Scotland scored against England.
Yeah.
The most recent goal Scotland scored against England. Who scored it?
Griffiths?
No.
The free kick?
No.
He's won, obviously.
Of course he is. I can give that away for now.
Oh, hold on.
But the last goal Scotland scored against England, the most recent one, who scored it? Think outside the box here, because why am I asking you? I don't want to give the answers away to the teaser. This guy's not on the teaser. Why would he not be on the teaser?
Because it was an own goal.
Yes.
It was Harry
Correct.
Maguire.
Harry Maguire.
Yeah.
Glad we got there. And in 1, East Kilbride 2, John Robertson on 40 minutes, having a good season for East Kilbride. And putting them in front just 5 minutes before the interval. Will we get any late drama? Can you imagine Livy or Dundee going ahead before the break, just to round off this madness?
No, I think the two of them are getting 2-2. That's exciting enough up at Dens Park for David Friel, and we'd need to listen for another 5 minutes. So 2-2 is good enough.
Dundee were actually forced into a change about 5 minutes ago. Brad Halliday off injured, and Mari Samuels comes on, so kind of like for like change there for Stephen Presley.
Meanwhile, people are snoring at Easter Road.
I don't think Roger Hannah's not even taking the bait. That's when I know it's bad. When I say, is anything happening? He's not even answering me. So that just it tells you that
he's snoring by the sounds of things.
That's not ideal, is it? It really is not. Oh, I think he's getting hee-haw, he says.
Hee-haw. There you go.
Well, that's a neat summary of events. Hee-haw.
2 teams that would take a draw?
No. Hibs at home, St Mirren.
I know, but like, I'm not saying take a draw, but
you did.
Certainly
That's exactly what you said.
Take it back. Take it back right now.
St Mirren would certainly take a draw.
Two teams say we take a draw? No, I never say 2 teams will take a draw.
No other goals to tell you about yet. We'll keep you up to speed on anything that does go in between now and the interval. We will round off that teaser. I think we probably can, to be honest. I think people made such easy work of it. Let's crack on with it.
The first half teaser with Archiplan Glasgow. Planning permission and building warrants drawings for home extension, conversion or renovation.
The last 6 Scots to score against England, I'm going to do it in reverse order. I'm going to go back 40 years. Wembley, 1986, Graham Souness. Wembley, 1999, Don Hutchison. Wembley 2013, James Morrison. Same game, Kenny Miller. Always a quiz answer. 2014, Andy Robertson at Celtic Park. And of course, Hampden 2017, Lee Griffiths twice.
There we go. And the night Andy Robertson scored. Who scored for England? Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who also scored the Lee Griffiths game as well. He's got it in for us a bit, actually, now that I think about it. Annan 1, East Kilbride 3 now. Jal Balde, good turnaround from East Kilbride, having fallen behind early on. Are we going to get anything more in the madness? No, but Congreve has had a shot saved. He's been brilliant, says David Friel. He is very good, Cameron Congreve, isn't he?
That's the one player I like. I think he's very direct. He's got a trick up his sleeve. I really like him as a winger.
Yeah, he's been excellent for Dundee. And Ugan on the other side, they carry a proper attacking threat, which is strange because they don't score very often until today. Maybe this is the day that it kick-starts things. Simon Murray rediscovering his scoring touch. There's a name I remember, former Aberdeen defender Alfie Dorrington, remember him?
Yeah,
he scored an own goal for Salford against Man City in the FA Cup. So
but at least it's only 1-0 in almost half time. I think the last time they were there, they lost 8-0. Salford.
Does Pep not live in Salford or something? Was there not some sort of...
Oh, does he?
I'm sure I read that somewhere.
What's his house number?
Goal, Easter Road finally.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And it's 1-0 to the home side. Hibs hit the front. It's taken a while. Nothing happening in the game up until now, but that won't be of any concern to the Hibs fans who are probably going in at the break. And it's Elding, the new striker, in, signed at the end of the window with a header. First start, first goal. Nice way to introduce yourself, Owen Elding.
Yeah, see, very happy to him, for him. Sligo Rovers, that's where my grandfather came from, and I took all my grandchildren to go and see where he came from last summer. So happy to see a Sligo Rovers boy get a go.
Ball in from the right, glancing header beyond George into the far corner.
Yeah, great time to score. Obviously David Gray will be over the moon. Stephen Robertson will be going off his nut just before half time. Get in 0-0, you're away from home, you can adjust one or two things, but advantage Hibs.
Yeah, again, Stephen Robinson, you mentioned he'll be raging. It sounds as if it comes from a set piece into the box. They don't defend it, and he gets his first goal. So brilliant for him. And David Gray, I'll just be hoping that spurs him on and kicks him on to getting a decent performance and result today.
Good time to score and all that. Just a couple of minutes before the break, so we'll see what impact that has on the game. Can St Mirren find something and strike back before the interval? Or will Hibs have that advantage to take into the second half? We will find out. It's still all square. Brilliant game. 2-2 between Dundee and Livy, and 1-1 as well between Falkirk and Dundee United. So quite a lot happening there. And there's Lewis Smith now firing over after a great move. Livy looking to go in front. Marvin's clapping. He was doing a lot of clapping the other night.
He loves a clap.
I was high up in the gantry at Celtic Park, right up the top. So I was looking directly down on the top of his head, kind of watching his movements, seeing how he goes about his business.
Encouraging.
Lots of clapping, I noticed.
Yeah, quite rightly so. He's trying to get the best out of his team.
Kept his composure as well, because his players were all going nuts at the end of the game, but he didn't seem that bothered.
Can't afford to throw any balls on the pitch now, can he?
Now that he's the manager.
Do you know what the worst thing in management was for the fans that used to, and I don't know why, but when I was at Ayr United, see if it was pouring the rain, you'd actually stand out and get soaked, right? Just to kid on that you were really caught up in the game. And you'd be standing there going, I've not even got a change of gear.
You know what?
With me.
Well,
that's true.
You shouldn't say that because you were a football manager, and this shows you why I clearly wouldn't care enough, because I agree with that. I was watching Derek McInnes at Tynecastle the other night thinking, that must be miserable. Go and stick a jacket on, wear a hat, I don't know, do it. But you can't do the Steve McLaren, can you? Because then it goes wrong and everybody holds it against you.
Sit in the dugout and shelter.
You just need to suffer it.
Mate, it's the worst thing in the world.
What was Martin O'Neill wearing?
Oh, he's just always got a tracksuit on, doesn't he? Always.
Yeah,
it wasn't so bad at Celtic Park. It was more the night before the derby. It was miserable, absolutely miserable. Anyway, we're nearly there in terms of half-time whistles, so we'll see which one will be first to go. We do now at least have a goal in them all, which is nice, because I thought we were heading for very little between Hibs and St Mirren, but Owen Elding has popped up 3 minutes before the break to open not only Hibs' account for the day, but his own personal account in a Hibs jersey. It's his first start as well, so always nice to mark the occasion, Cammy.
Yeah, brilliant. Again, perfect way for him to start. He's obviously came over to Scotland. He scored a lot of goals over, is it Northern Ireland he came from, wasn't it? Sligo?
No, Sligo was in the
Southern Ireland, sorry. Yeah, so again, he scored a lot of goals there, and it's the perfect way to start his Hibs career.
This is typical. This is typical. Hannah always has to. I thought my stat about Alex Ferguson being the only man who's ever come and won 3 games in Glasgow, I thought that would be hard to beat today. Roger Hannah might have just outdone me. He says that Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's first ever career goal was age 16 for Southampton against Bournemouth. Who was playing for Bournemouth?
Big
Marvin Bartley. And now his first Celtic goal was against Marvin's Livingston.
Wow, that is good.
That's research for you.
How does he know this stuff?
Probably somebody tells him.
Probably, yeah, there is every chance. That wasn't the talk of the bar at your big night out last night, no?
No, I really should say in passing, my great friend Kenny McDonald, it was his retirement do. He was working with Roger on the Scottish Sun, and he retired, and last night we said farewell to him.
See, people a lot younger than you are all retiring, and you're still just going strong. Not that we're not delighted to have you, of course. Half time for Roger Hannah, the aforementioned Hibs against St Mirren. Roger.
Yes, indeed. Hibernian 1, St Mirren 0. Let me tell you, Hugh, Kenny MacDonald would have had strong views in this 45 minutes. It has not been a classic, but it was illuminated just 3 minutes before the interval with a first Hibs goal for 19-year-old Owen Elding. He's been handed a first ever Hibs start today by David Gray after his January arrival from Sligo Rovers, and the English-born striker, maybe a new fan's favourite here. It was a lovely goal, a ball in from the right by Dan Barlaser, and a glancing header from Elding from about 6 yards out beyond Shamal George and inside the far post. Hibs just about worthy of it. They played the better of it in the first half. Then Scarlett saw a header saved by George after 11 minutes. Then it was a quick free kick in 15 minutes. The ball lifted into the box. Elding reached out, just couldn't quite get to the ball and into the grateful grasp of George. 17 minutes and St Mirren goalkeeper tested again, this time pushing out a low drive from the edge of the area by Miguel Chewa. St Mirren took a bit of time to get going. They didn't really threaten Raphael Salinger too much in the Hibs goal. They had an attempt in 25 minutes. Jake Young back from suspension up top. He volleyed wide from 20 yards, but it was Hibs who were making the running towards the interval. Conor McMenamin booked in 41 minutes, and then 60 seconds later, that opening goal, lovely dink ball in from Barlaser, the glancing header from Elding to break the deadlock at the interval. Hibernian 1, St Mirren 0.
That must have changed the mood in the stadium, Roger.
Oh, very much so. Very, very much so. It wasn't a great game. It was as flat as you boys were suggesting it would be. And, you know, I actually didn't see the goal coming. Hibs had a lot of play. Miguel Chewa has played well in the middle of the park. He has been, you know, a guy who's causing St Mirren problems. But I like Dan Barlaser. It's usually set-piece delivery that causes problems for opposition. This time it's some open play. He picked out Elding in the box. And you wonder now, you know, whether St Mirren, who are struggling for goals in the league, plenty of goals in the cup competitions this season, Gordon, struggling for goals in the league, you wonder if they've got it in them to get back into this game, because that was a real setback for Stephen Robinson just before the break.
Well, we will find out soon. I just realised when you gave us the answers, the Souness, Hutchison, Morrison, Miller, Robertson, Griffiths, I don't think I gave out the winners. So well done to Wee Scooch, who was the bronze medalist. We'll go back to medal speak since the Winter Olympics is on. Michael Donati in second, and Living the Dream is indeed living the dream, because you are the winner of the first half teaser. Game of the day might already be in the bag. Dundee against Livingston. David Friel.
Yeah, it must be in the bag. Gordon Rogers not been watching a classic. I am watching a classic half time. Dundee 2, Livingston 2. I think you described it as madness, and that perfectly sums up the first half. What a game. Two teams having a real go at each other. There's been 4 goals. There could have been 8 or 9. Had 4 goals inside the first 19 minutes. Dundee led 2-0, then Livy fought back. Both sides have had chances since then, and I would be amazed if this game finishes 2-2. Dundee, as I said, got off to a flying start. Simon Murray scored twice inside the first 5 minutes. For the first, Jan Dandas corner caused chaos in the box. Dundee captain volleyed in from close range. For the second, Cam Congreve, he's been so good today, found space in the right, floated in across. Simon Murray, glancing header into the bottom corner, looks very much back to his best. It was a perfect start for Dundee. You really feared for Livy, but to their immense credit, they dusted themselves down and get back into it. Lewis Smith's been playing centrally. He's been really lively, and he made it 2-1 in 15 minutes, combined with Robbie Muirhead then fire past John McCracken after his first shot was blocked. Macaulay Tate in the next Livy attack should have made it 2-0. His low effort went just wide, but Livy were celebrating again within seconds when they did equalise. John McCracken, he was on the ball, he was too slack. He allowed Robbie Muirhead to close him down and then block his attempted clearance or pass. The ball deflected to Scott Pittman, and he had the pretty simple task of slotting the ball into the empty net. The big surprise for me is that there was no more goals before half time. Livy had a lot of pressure. The Dundee defence has looked nervous at times, but Cam Congreve on that right wing has been excellent. He was denied by a big Jerome Prior save just before the break. Lewis Smith also fired over. And Marvin Bartley looks really thrilled with his team's attitude. I think he feels this game is there for the taking. They could potentially get that win. We will see in the second half. It's been great entertainment, and hopefully see more of the same after the break. Half time, Dundee 2, Livingston 2.
It is also half time at the Falkirk Stadium, where Dundee United are the visitors, and Fraser Wishart's been watching.
Yeah, it's Falkirk 1, Dundee United 1. I think Jim Goodwin will be the happier. Manager's got his tactics right, nullified Falkirk's attacking threat. They've looked dangerous in the break on a number of occasions, and even when they lost the opener to Ben Broggio goal from Falkirk, they replied quickly to get the equaliser by Ross Graham. And I think the Falkirk fans are a wee bit frustrated. Not their usual flowing football, although in the early stages, no surprise, they had most of the possession, the home side. United were just dropping off. happy to concede ground and the ball, but it was United with the early chances on the break. Trapanovski with a pass into the box to Sapsford. I don't know why he didn't shoot. He just took one good touch. He should have shot, then tried to play it back to Trapanovski, and the chance was gone. Then Ross Graham, back post header, he got good contact on it. It was pushed over the bar by Scott Bain. Craig Sibbald a foot wide with a volley from 20 yards. But just as United having that spell on top, it was Falkirk that took the lead. It was a lovely goal. Dylan Tate played the ball into the feet of Barney Stewart with a lovely touch inside, and Ben Bradshaw on the right wing making the run inside, was onto the layoff quickly, and his low right foot shot from 14 yards across the goalkeeper into the side net. It was a terrific finish, but United get back into the game quickly. 25 minutes, Ryan strained a long throw into the box. It wasn't cleared properly. The clearance went high into the air. Scott Bain came to get it. He wasn't really under any pressure, but he tried to catch it low rather than taking it at its highest point, and he bumped into Liam Henderson, his own teammate, and the ball rolled to Ross Graham, who just passed the ball into the back of the empty net. Falkirk were shocked, but they get back, almost took the lead, 4 minutes later. Lewis Nielsen looped a header off the top of the bar, the keeper beat him, but that was it for the game in terms of chances. A bit of a struggle from Falkirk from then on. United got a lift from the goal, defending well. Falkirk unusually careless on the ball, but neither keeper having much to do. And I think Louis Marsh, the Falkirk midfield player, summed up the frustration of the game when a couple of minutes before the break he was in space, real danger position, 25 yards from goal, and he shot when he had better options to pass on either side. All square, a fair reflection of the break. A decent game to watch, but just like a bit more from both sides in the final third and a few more chances in front of goal. Half time, Falkirk 1, Dundee United 1.
And we'll do a full roundup of the half time scores when we return.
Happens. And your reaction from 5 on the open line. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Half time in the 3 o'clock games across the country. Let's do a full roundup of the scores as they stand at the moment. Then in the Premiership in Scotland, 3 games to get stuck into today. Dundee 2, Livingston 2, Falkirk 1, Dundee United 1, and Hibs 1, St Mirren 0. In the Championship, a couple of postponements. Arbroath-Ayr, Dunfermline, Partick Thistle, which leaves Morton 0, Raith Rovers 0, and Ross County 0, Queen's Park 1. In League 1, it's East Fife 0, Cove Rangers 1, Kelty Hearts 0, Peterhead 1, Queen of the South 0, Alloa Athletic 1, Stenhousemuir 1, Montrose 0. In League 2, Annan 1, East Kilbride 3, and the Spartans 0, Edinburgh City 0. No English Premier League either. I'll do a couple of the FA Cup goals for you. In fact, it finished Burton 0, West Ham 1, Burnley 1, Mansfield 0, Southampton 1, Leicester 0, Man City 1, Salford 0, and Norwich 1, West Brom 0. We will kick off our second half games when we return.
The winning team all season long. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Second half's about to get underway. I don't suppose they are ready quite yet. They were delayed a little bit in finishing. David Friel, you have watched an unbelievable first half. Livy are out, but no Dundee yet. Would you anticipate any further changes at the break?
Yeah, Cammy Kerr seems to be coming on, Gordon, for Livy, obviously against his former club. He's a boyhood Dundee fan, so he's coming on. Marvin is going to switch things up slightly. Still waiting to see who's coming on. Dundee players are just out now. Yeah, look, this is going to be a big second half for both sides. We spoke about it before the game. It's must win for Livy and must win for Dundee as well, really. And I think we saw that in the first half. Just two teams going at it. Some really good players on show. I thought Lewis Smith, excellent for Livy. Cam Congreve, a real standout. Simon Murray back scoring goals. I think you need to applaud the attitude, determination, all of that from Livingston. And for Dundee, it was just a case of, they got that perfect start. They just couldn't keep the back door shut. I think John McCracken's looked a bit nervy. The defence entirely has looked a bit nervy, but Nick Walsh just back out, just about to put the ball in the centre circle again. It's going to be a huge second half here.
That's an interesting change, that. Mr. Dundee, Cammy Kerr, over 250 appearances for Dundee, and now lining up for Livy against his boyhood team. So we'll see how he gets on. It's funny because, nobody cares in the context of that game, but here it's always, would they score? Would they celebrate a goal? Would they do this? Would they do that?
I always think you owe your loyalty to the person who's paying your wages.
Yeah, I think that's fairly sensible. Idowu and Mandron for Devaney and Young at the break for St Mirren. Always a sign that Stephen Robinson is not particularly happy with the way things are going, which is understandable, I guess. Fraser Wishart, are the teams back out yet? Falkirk, Dundee United?
No, it's been a bit of a long break here. The teams aren't out. The players are still warming up with the balls there as well. And it's been that type of game, just everything's been a wee bit slow. It's been okay to watch, just not enough chances in the last third. Falkirk really a bit slack with their passing. It's unusual for them as well. Not seen much of Callum Miller, spoke about him before the game. He's not had the ball. Barney Stewart's been out of the game as well, but that's down to the way United have set up the usual 3-4-3. And Neil Farrugia, the left back or left wing back, he's actually playing wide on the right, but he's dropping quite deep to help Ryan Strain as well. So all in all, a bit of a frustrating day from a Falkirk perspective. I don't think United will be too unhappy of all the chances in the game. Although Falkirk have had most of the ball, I think United have had the better chances. So just watching the teams come out here, I don't think there'll be any changes, but Brian Graham's on the bench, Aidan Nisbet, somebody can come on and create something as well. Carriel Wilson on the wide area for Falkirk. They might see one or two of them in the first 15-20 minutes, but from a United point of view, I think Jim Goodwin will be fairly happy that Falkirk need to play better and do better, especially in the last third if they're going to win this game.
Is that the Wishart effect? Gordon Dalziel had Calvin Miller on the plane to the World Cup at 2 minutes to 3. He's now at his quietest first half of the season.
Yeah, listen, I can totally understand what Fraser was saying. Because we do need wide players, and with Barnes pulling out, look, Miller has been sensational for Falkirk. Let's not be kidded here. Is he at that level just now? I think the cold's getting to Fraser.
Second half hat-trick coming up.
I saw John McGlynn come out midweek and absolutely deny that Celtic tried to get Calvin Miller back.
Do you know what the thing is? Clubs are very clever with this stuff. That's my sort of tuppence worth, if you like. So if Celtic didn't bid for Calvin Miller and Celtic didn't ask Falkirk for Calvin Miller, then John McGlynn and Jamie Swinney are perfectly entitled to say it didn't happen, we didn't get any contact. That doesn't mean Celtic weren't interested in Calvin Miller.
No.
Right? There are other ways of these things coming about where an agent gets asked and all that sort of stuff. So the truth's always in the middle somewhere. You tend to find there was an interest in
I do not doubt
in some way, shape or form. Anyway, let's get the second halves up and running, shall we? Are we happy with that?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get set for the season with expert pharmacy support.
So Cammy Kerr from Montagno is a confirmed Livy change. Scott Wright's back at Dundee, remember? He's just come on. Callum Jones as well. Yogan and Danda off. So it's quite an interesting double change for... I actually nearly called him Elvis Presley there, Stephen Presley.
Not much of a week for Jan Danda. Missed penalty and getting hooked at half time.
How bad was the penalty?
Oh, no, a tough week.
It was shocking, wasn't it? It was like one of mine's that day in the Ravens, Craig Gordon.
I think you and I had a penalty shootout many years ago. He's just gone like top corner, hasn't he? Tried for the perfection and...
Not at that moment in the game. I don't think you need perfection, but listen, it's been a tough week because that was a sore one for them. They could have got a point at Falkirk, which would have been a decent point if they could have went and backed it up today with a decent result, which they've still got the opportunity to do. So yeah, tough week for Jan Danda. Yeah,
it is indeed right. The second halves are getting underway. Not too many, in fact none in the top flight. No weather cancellations today, which is nice. There was a sore one in the Championship because our Broth Air was about an hour before kick-off. It's a long old journey that as well, if that adds further insult to injury. Dunfermline Thistle was off a bit earlier, a few down the leagues, and I wanted to give a mention to Dumbarton. I thought this was a great gesture when I saw it this morning. I thought this is definitely worth a mention. So their home game was off, and they sent out a tweet to say, with today's game off, we don't want our delicious taste of home catering by Rue's halftime buffet, don't mind giving them a mention, going to waste. So pop down to the stadium and pick yourself up some great snacks, totally free of charge, although donations always welcome.
What would you do in that occasion, right? Do you sit, right, okay, jump in the car, you get down in the car park and go, wait till somebody goes first?
It's like the buffet at a party.
Yeah, you're sitting going, wait till somebody goes and then we'll follow them. You don't want to be first there, do you?
Listen, it's a good gesture. If you're giving a wee bit for charity, if you put the donation in, making sure it's not going to waste, I thought it was a nice gesture from Dumbarton.
And it's just across the road. Why are we
not getting?
Yeah, hungry.
In this day and age, it's a magnificent gesture. And let me say that they're second bottom of League 2, and they are in danger of dropping out of the SPFL, and that would be a tremendous shame for everyone who lives in this particular area. And since it is Valentine's Day, the day after I proposed to my wife, I took her to Dumbarton to see them playing Clydebank. And she still went ahead with the marriage.
Who won?
What?
Who won?
It was a draw.
Certainly not your wife.
She might have gone ahead with the marriage, but it is Valentine's Day and she's gone to the Highlands for 3 nights and left him on his own.
I know. He's got empty for 3 nights. That microwave will blow up.
Are you stocked up on microwave meals?
Oh, you better believe it. and everything else, let me tell you. But such is life in the Super Scoreboard team that when I told Roger Hannah my romantic story last night about saying, look, we've been married for nearly 55 years, but why don't I take you out for dinner on Saturday? I said, I'm going to wait for the weekend. And Roger Hannah laughed like a drain.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, if anyone's got any suggestions of what Hugh should watch himself on Valentine's Day tonight, well, he's on his own, you can get them in. But we are, on a serious note, looking for your Valentine's poetry. We do it every year because it's great fun. At Clyde SSB, roses are red, you do the rest. They've been quite creative so far. A nice blend as well between insulting the pundits and maybe making it about Scottish football or something topical. Paslak has hit the woodwork, one of Hibs' new signings. It's a volley at the back post from a
like
deep Nicky Cadden cross.
Sounds like something not doing very much here.
No. Trapanowski's gone off injured for Dundee United. Max Waters has come on. Queen of the South 1, Alloa 1. Rhys Lyon with the equaliser. Whilst we wait on more poetry coming in, Hugh, why don't we do this?
The second half teaser with Archiplan Glasgow. Planning permission and building warrants drawings for home extension, conversion or renovation.
I'm tipping the Dazzler to get this in 5 minutes. In my career, I have been managed by Tony Mowbray and Jim Goodwin. I have played beside Conor Barron, Matty Longstaff and Scott Sinclair. And I've won every major trophy in Scotland. Who am I? Managed by Tony Mowbray and Jim Goodwin, played beside Conor Barron, Matty Longstaff and Scott Sinclair, and won every major trophy in Scotland.
Oh yeah, I wonder if the end clue could be the giveaway, but let's go. Let's see how it's a race at Clyde SSB. You need to beat everyone else to it if you want to win. So at Clyde SSB as fast as you can. And I always say it every week, the second half teas are great fun because you can just start chucking names in there. So even if you're not sure, give it a go. See if you can make something stick at Clyde SSB. Oh, he's gone deep into thought. Look at that. Is that your thinking face?
Yeah, that's my thinking face.
That's not what I wanted to see this Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day, you don't like to see that thinking face.
Let me tell you. No other goals in the top flight. Stenhousemuir 1, Montrose 1. Callum Sandilands 52 minutes on the clock, equalising there.
Well, again, if you're Stephen Robinson, 1 down at Easter Road, apparently not doing very much to address that situation, the last thing you want to hear is another goal for Dundee in the game against Livy, because that would then take Dundee above St Mirren and add to the tension and pressure.
Yeah, well, by this time in the first half there had been 3 goals, I think, maybe even more in that game. That was incredible. Dundee going into a 2-goal lead within 5 minutes, and then Livy pulling it back. Both had chances to take the lead, neither of them have, and we've kicked off the second half with both teams making changes and still 2-2, so loads to look forward to in the second half there. I'm fascinated to see how that one ends. And we are getting closer to the phone lines being open. At that point, definitely want to hear from you and your thoughts on today's action, but tomorrow's as well. East Fife 1, Cove Rangers 1. Andy Munro has equalised there, if League 1 is your thing. And Cammy, have you written off Annan's chances? They were 1 up, 3-1 down to East Kilbride now.
Yeah, I think the game's gone. East Kilbride are a good side. Obviously Scotty down there with them doing well. So and again, East Kilbride need to win. They're on the coattails of Spartans at the top of the league, so it's a big game for them. I can't see any way back for Annan.
Yeah, Spartans still drawing 0-0 with them.
I think so, yeah.
Could be a day of gain for East Kilbride, but still a long way to go, so we'll keep an eye out on that as well. Not only the top flight that's got a good title race brewing, although it probably is the best one. Been a long time since we said that.
Yeah, absolutely magnificent. Hard to remember a double header like in fact, I'll throw in Motherwell because they are one of the big teams of the season. Hard to remember a triple header on a Sunday like this. You know, the Motherwell against an Aberdeen team who've recruited Tony Docherty now.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Falkirk 2, Dundee United 1, and it's Philip Lisa with the goal. John McGlynn and Falkirk have used that loan market from England so well this season. He is one of the plus points from it. Philip Lisa, 53 minutes gone, the right back has scored to make it Falkirk 2, Dundee United 1.
And if that scoreline becomes a result, Falkirk go 17 points ahead of Dundee United, and Jim Goodwin will have lost 5 games in a row. Somebody will ask questions.
Yeah, it'd be a damaging defeat again for Dundee United, but Lisa's been brilliant this season. What I find, he's been an excellent player, and it sounds like the perfect start and reaction that John McGlynn would have wanted from his half-time team talk.
And he's the right back. He started the move and passed it out wide to Leon McCann, who's the left back. Leon McCann then crosses it, and Philippe Lisa scores. That's what you're after.
Yeah, they can score good goals, Falkirk. I've got to say, especially at home, they're so entertaining to watch. They're really on the front foot. They go after teams. They believe that they can, cause teams all sorts of problems. You quite rightly said there, Gordon, what an attacking team. Full back to full back, and then it's in the back of the net.
But the fullbacks are so important for them. They get forward so much. They're part of their attacking play. And as you say, that just typifies it with McCann putting the ball in and him coming in the back post and putting the ball in the back of the net. So, yeah, they're a brilliant team to watch.
Imagine they put Dundee Eyes out the cup as well. How would that go down? That's the quarter-final tie.
Hold. Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Falkirk 2, Dundee United 2. It's a man who made his name at Falkirk many years ago, Craig Sibbald. He's just passed the ball into the net from 20 yards. You can almost imagine it. I feel like I remember him doing that before, just stroking it in from 20 yards. It's a lovely, cool finish, and that will be an absolute sickener for John McGlynn and a much needed boost for Jim Goodwin. It is 2-2, just as it was on the opening weekend of the season at Falkirk between these two. Will we get a winner this time?
And also 3 games, 9 goals so far. We'll hit double figures shortly somewhere.
2 2-2s is a nice place to be in at 4:15 on a Saturday afternoon.
Well, I went for 3 draws, didn't I?
Oh,
so
you did.
I'm still in the hunt.
You can just imagine that Craig Sibbald goal where I'm just passing it with that left foot. He's got such a cultured left foot, brilliant, and you can just see it. I can visualise it just now. Him passing it into the corner. Yeah, I certainly can.
Yeah, Craig Sibbald, 10 minutes into the second half, and we are level there. So let's see what that game produces. Will there be a winner? Similar story. And any sign of a St Mirren comeback? That's what we need to keep an eye on in these second halves.
Well, it's certainly a fragile lead. I mean, 1-0 is no lead at all. And a St Mirren comeback would be great for them, but the last thing that David Gray needs.
Mick Sauce has tweeted in. I like this. He's elaborated a bit. He's broken the usual structure that we were looking for. He says, roses are red, violets are blue. I have a wee poem for all of you. McTominay's was amazing, Shankland's was fine, Katie's was stunning, but Kenny McLean from the halfway line.
That's nice. The best one so far.
Yeah. What, because it doesn't insult you?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No, I thought a lot of thought getting put into that. Like good theme there.
When you think back on that night, I mean, it was ridiculous. McTominay's goal, best ever, and then Kenny McLean from the halfway line, top and tail.
You always get a great wee insight into people's thinking as well, where they and I do appreciate everybody getting in touch, but they still sit and take the time to send one that is neither funny nor will ever get read out. You know that way. But, listen, if that's your thing, fair play. Miko says roses are red, violets are blue. Enjoy watching on TV, Harvey. We didn't want you.
Nice.
See some of the topical
Another good
ones.
one.
You're just absolutely. That's 2 in a row that haven't insulted your nose.
Keep it going.
No, most of them are now just back to. Yeah. Oh, there's on a similar theme. Roses are red. Oh no, I can't. It was too obvious what the rhyming slang was there. The Scots have no luck. And I'm not going there. I'm not going. It was about Harvey Barnes.
Yes,
yeah. Okay, let's move on. My goodness. No other goals to tell you about yet, but the second half teaser is up and running. Any progress from your end, Gordon DL?
Can you repeat the question, Hugh? I've got
in
one or two.
In my career, I've been managed by Tony Mowbray and Jim Goodwin. I've played beside Conor Barron, Matty Longstaff and Scott Sinclair, and I've won every major trophy in Scotland.
I'm just going to go for an obvious.
Yes.
Yep.
You've got it. Well done.
Told you you get it.
I'm going to come clean on something about the teaser that I don't know whether I should, because it exposes us for making a mistake, but I also think it's nice to underline just how big a deal the first and second half teasers are on this show and how widespread they are. Edinburgh Derby the other night, one of the most dramatic moments of the season. Hearts score a late winner, could be one of the goals that helps them move towards an historic title. Craig Halkett devastated to be sitting out, suspended. First thing in his mind when I saw him after the game, he said, I was the answer on the Who Am I a couple of weeks ago. He said, but you were wrong. It shouldn't have been me.
Did you not say to him, no, you're wrong?
He said, I didn't play with Big Marv. You had me down as playing with Marvin Bartley, and I'd never played with him. So there we go. So I've had to admit that we got it wrong, but it was nice to just see that the big names in Scottish football are paying attention.
What a guy. Great guy.
So that was a blow.
Yeah, that is a blow.
Obviously I said, sorry, I don't make them up, it's Hugh's fault.
He should have said, listen, John Ram.
He looks like John Ram.
Yeah, all day long.
John Ram.
I does, didn't he? What? He's a John Ram lookalike.
I'm not sure.
Halloween.
He's a better looking John Ram.
Halloween, he takes a driver out with him. I'm John Ram.
I think he's an excellent golfer, actually.
Is he?
Rings a bell, yeah. Anyway, no golf for you this morning, no?
Too cold.
A bit of sunshine.
Too cold. I'll play golf in any weather, but freezing when I got up this morning. No, not for me. Maybe tomorrow.
No other goals yet. Let's check in on the answers to that teaser or some of your suggestions. Gordon Dale might have it, but let me help you out if you're on the wrong track. Joseph thinks it's Johnny Hayes.
No.
Craig Meikle thinks it's Niall McGinn.
No.
You can see a theme developing here, can't you? Okay, get the guesses in at Clyde SSB, please. Anything else doing? Nope, not yet.
All quiet.
Okay, that's absolutely fine.
Let's get some more poems going.
I need to find that line between insulting you too much. I don't want to ruin your Valentine's Day.
Don't worry about me. I'm thick-skinned with a big nose. I can accept that.
You looking forward to the rugger later?
I'm not. I'm what do you call it? 1% club. That's the only thing for me now.
Saturday night?
I'm honestly brilliant at it.
I was sensational last week. I'm not going to lie. It was a real hot streak last week.
I swear, it's one programme I'm very good at. Don't get me wrong, I've never had the 1%. Have you?
Tonight could be the night.
Have you had it? Too hard for me.
I don't know.
Too hard for me. I get down to, I would probably take my half of the 10 grand or whatever, or my 1,000 bonus and leave happily ever after. But
do you know why you'd be perfect for that show though? Because you'd be great at that nonsense bit where they have to say something slightly wacky about themselves, and everybody's is always so dull. Yours would genuinely probably be quite revealing.
Yeah, I'd like to go on the shows. I'm getting invited to a lot nowadays.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Like what?
I'm not telling.
No, seriously.
what have you been
I showed you earlier.
Seriously, you've had an invite to go on a legitimate mainstream TV show.
Yeah.
But you won't tell us which one.
No.
See, because hold on.
No.
You are a pathological liar.
No,
but are you being serious
here? It's there in writing if you want to see. But the one thing I will disclose is,
I'm excited.
It is certainly not the one that the
Naked Attraction
screen gets up.
Thank goodness for that.
They said they couldn't just move this. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
But genuinely, you've had an offer.
Yeah. I got it through yesterday.
It ain't Eggheads, I'll tell you that. It ain't University Challenge.
No, because I could never sit above MD. I'm scared
if the
of
listeners could guess that one. They weren't you on the River City?
Cammy's seen it. Have you seen it, Anya?
Yeah.
I don't know if you down as a come dine with me
place in the sun. No, none of that. But it's a big show.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Are you? Well, hold on though. If you've said you've been invited on, that makes me think it's a celebrity version of something.
The question was I interested?
And have you done anything with it yet?
I've panicked. That's all I can say.
So nothing yet, not responded?
I've not responded. I'm giving it over a weekend.
David Field says question time. Can you imagine it?
I love question time.
Tonight we come live from the Motherwell Civic Centre. It's closed down, but when it was open,
a lot more exciting.
I think you're encouraging David Field and Roger Hanna to get the news staff on this case.
Oh, it's amazing.
The Dazzler to appear in
Love Island, says Fraser Wishart.
Oh.
What are they looking for? Somebody to clean the pool, Fraser?
Are you alright?
I don't think so.
Clean the pool. Be in the pool.
Well, I can't wait to see whatever it is. I
pool.
hope you take it up. Whatever it is, I hope you take it up.
Yeah, I know you do.
Okay, is it?
let's just move on to Roses Are Red.
No, I'm like a dog with a bone here. The football can wait.
Oh,
you
yeah, I'd be the same.
Not famous enough for celebrity traitors, right? Forget that, obviously. So, is it romance related then?
Yeah, it could go down that way.
It's getting better. Like, you'll need to hold that thought.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Hibs 2, St Mirren 0. Ante Suto is just off the bench and he has scored. He made a great impact, didn't he, coming on and scoring against Dundee United. Came on in the derby and gave away the free kick that led to the Hearts winner, but he's back in amongst the positive feelings today. Saints had been better after the break, so quite harsh on them, I guess, but Ante Suto scores. 6-yard box. And there we are, Hibs 2, St Mirren now, long way back for the Buddies.
Well, the game's in Edinburgh, but it's good night Vienna for Stephen Robinson. And all we need now is a winner for Dundee and...
VAR check for a possible offside, steady.
Well, if it stands, very bad day for Stephen Robinson. And if Dundee score, an even worse day for
Goal
Stephen.
stands, on
there
you go.
Are, right, he's in trouble then. Stephen Robinson's in trouble.
Yes, that's a hammer blow for Stephen. And anybody that thinks St Mirren are in a real dogfight, they absolutely are. There's no getting away from it. Their form's been terrible all season. It's been really poor consistently, and you just can't see it turning around. Their games coming up are difficult games. Some big games as well coming up. I know they'll face Livingston very soon. So, yeah, listen, worrying times for St Mirren.
Have we got Motherwell next?
Yep. Yeah. I said that back at 2 when I was asked who I think is going to be in real trouble, and it's St Mirren. It's written all over them.
You predicted them to draw the game today.
Yeah, well, but I still think they'll be in trouble, even with a draw. But they're not going to get a draw, so they'll be even in more trouble.
Okay.
But since after the semi-final against Motherwell, they've not been good at all. They won the cup final, and then after that, the tools have been put away for some unknown reason. So they are bang in trouble.
Again, we'll be back to this thing where it's obviously an accumulation. Cammy is going to Easter Road and losing the game, the end of the world. No, it's not. But when you're on that run and you don't maybe quite know where the next win is going to come from, maybe that doesn't quite apply, because they had steadied the ship slightly. They got the win against Hearts, for goodness sake, but just no sign of a consistent run at the moment.
I think that's the key word, is consistency. They can't show that. They're not scoring goals, they're conceding goals, so it's a recipe for disaster. They've got Motherwell in their next game, and then they face Livingston and Dundee United, both away from home. So again, it's big games facing them really in quick succession. So by the start of March, St Mirren will absolutely know where they are, and I think it'll be a relegation battle.
Hibs 2-0 up, remember, against St Mirren. There's been a change for each side in the game that's poised between Falkirk and Dundee United at 2-2. Cartwright for Marsh for the Bairns, and Savage for Carestes for the visitors. Will we get a winner there? Plenty of time left. Miovski Prop tweeted in to say, definitely Married at First Sight for you.
Oh, that's a good show.
You'd be that. I think that could be great for you.
Oh, I've already done that 3 times.
Oh, but the mystery of it all. You know, you don't know who the other person's going to be.
Yeah, as I'm standing there and I look around.
And you could, and the Australian version of that's very popular, so you might qualify for both, given that you spent 10 days there back in the 80s.
That's right. With
Ange Postecoglou.
Yeah, that's a good show. I like that programme. I do watch it. I really do.
There you go.
You don't say.
There's not a lot of success in it. None of them stay together too much, do they?
Well, I could take my own wedding rings.
Well, they'd be perfect for it then. They'd be absolutely perfect for it if that's the case. Keep your answers coming in. Again, Hugh, a quick reminder of the question.
Yeah, in my career I have been managed by Tony Mowbray and Jim Goodwin. I have played beside Conor Barron, Matty Longstaff and Scott Sinclair, and I've won every major trophy in Scotland. Who am I?
Alan thinks it's Anthony Stokes.
No.
Jack Donnelly thinks it's Charlie Mulgrew.
No, I can see why they go down the Celtic route, but
the Boldster isn't. He's gone James Tavernier.
Oh,
okay. Is that a good O or a bad O?
Where would James Tavernier and Tony Mowbray have been together?
Who knows? He's been roundabout down the road. But anyway, not the correct answer. We'll do more of that as the show progresses and give you the winners a bit later on the phone lines. You know what I've not really done today is giving you much attention to the lower leagues. I know it's we've got a red card though, and it is Liam Henderson. Is it the old Dogzo that we've been so used to in recent times? Ryan Lee, the ref, goes to the screen. Red card. It is Henderson, Liam Henderson. It's on the halfway line, but you all know the drill. You know, think Austin Trusty, think other ones that we've had this season. He has been sent off for the denial of a goal scoring opportunity. Been a lot of them recently.
Yeah, and again it sounds as if it's obviously there's a long way to go for the opportunity to score a goal, but again, a goal scoring opportunity or denying a goal scoring opportunity, listen, it's open to interpretation of what is a goal scoring opportunity. So the referee obviously sees that and deems that as a red card, and listen, it's a lifeline for Dundee United, because if they could manage to snatch 3 points here away to Falkirk with a huge win.
It certainly sounds like it ticks a few of the boxes. Yes, it's on the halfway line, but he's about to run into the full empty half. It's central, all that sort of stuff. Obviously, when there's the bigger distance, I guess it gives more scope for people to catch up. But I just don't think you can apply the rule that way. If you wanted to, by the way, Max Waters is pretty quick. The Dundee United forward. I don't think that's the way you can really go about doing it.
You've got to look at where his fellow defenders are and the proximity to them, so I'm pretty sure the referee's taking that into consideration.
Might be a fight back for your hometown team, Cammy. Annan 2, East Kilbride 3, Joel Mbongo in 69 minutes, so plenty of time left there to get some late drama.
High scoring day throughout the country.
Well, that's where I was actually going when we got the news of that red card. We've not paid much attention to the lower leagues because we had a couple off. So just to bring you up to speed, Arbroath and Ayr was off. That was the one an hour before kick-off. A real sore one for the supporters. Dunfermline Partick Thistle, Mark Wilson's chance to go up against his hero and former manager Neil Lennon, postponed as well. Morton 0, Wraith Rovers 0. Not a lot happening there, apart from Dougie Imrie's now the Wraith Rovers manager, and Ian Murray's now the Morton manager.
Oh, that's right. And 2 past managers, so that'll be good.
Role reversal, but nothing really doing there. Ross County 0, Queen's Park 1's a big result at the bottom.
Yeah, huge result again. Queen's Park sitting bottom with a game in hand over Ross County, but that would be a massive win. Yeah, that would be a massive win for them if they can manage to get 3 points up in Dingwall today. And again, it's just
that would, if it stays that way, that leaves Ross County will finish the day bottom.
Yeah.
And I know they'll have a game in hand over Airdrie, but I mean, sure Kettlewell and they've got a couple of results, a better performance against Motherwell in the Cup, and you thought at a bare minimum they'd climb a couple of places.
Yeah, listen, they've won 3 out of the last 4, so they've started to win games. I think their start this season was so bad, horrendous. But again, we always looked at the players that they had; they should be doing so much better. So, but again, that is a real blow for them today.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll keep an eye on the Championship as well if it brings up any big talking points. Cole Donaldson's come on for Ben Broggio as Falkirk look to shore things up a bit after having a centre back sent off. There's a mixture of cheers and boos because he played for Dundee United as well, didn't he, Cole Donaldson?
Yeah, he was at Dundee United with myself.
He's quite a big character, I think, and Falkirk, and but had to spend the entire start of the season out injured. He only came back, I think, was the 10th of January, that game against St Mirren.
Yeah, I think he's only made I know he started the cup game against Steny, yeah, so I think that was his first start back. He's had a long spell of injury. He's been an important player, came through the leagues with Falkirk and obviously got a good relationship with John McGlynn, so yeah, it's good to see him back.
Michael Kelly thinks you might be going on to bargain hunt.
Bargain bargain hunt.
That's a good shout. You do love a bargain.
Yeah, that could be a shout.
Freebie.
I'm gonna, not the way I know this is a stupid question and the clue will be in the title. I'm not hugely familiar. What's the premise of bargain hunt? Don't say hunt for bargains, right? Tell me more. And
I I don't think I've ever seen it.
No. Is that so? Do you get? Would you get X amount to spend or something? And
and you go around. Is
like
that
an auction?
Car boot sale, and then you auction it off.
Yeah.
Oh, you'd be good at that then.
Yeah. I was
getting a wee bit mixed up with sort of Antiques Roadshow type thing, but you won't have anything for that because you've been everything.
Yeah, I've not. Oh no, I've nothing like that. I've got old bread or something, but apart from that, that's it.
Someone actually, Ian sent me a message last week to say he saw you and Asda rummaging like furiously through the loaves to try and get the cheapest one. Honestly,
no.
See the amount of feedback I get about you lot on a weekly basis. It is overwhelming.
That is ridiculous. What I was doing was I was trying to get the right bread, right?
With a yellow sticker on it.
No, I don't go.
Are you looking at the dates?
Yeah, I do that, but the one I wanted, the wholemeal one, was at the back, and I had to see people. Honestly, mind your own business. Run your own shop.
I told you, it's 24-hour surveillance. You have to accept that.
My goodness.
Eh? That's absolutely
something's going on in that
just an outrageous poem that's come in. I can't read it, I can't allude to it, I can't hint at what it is.
Who is that about?
No, honestly, it's seek help, okay? To the person that sent that in, seek professional help.
It must be bad.
That's all I'm going to say. I don't know what goes through people's minds in this place, honestly. Very strange. Hugh, don't you read it? I don't want you reading something like that. No. Bring us up to speed with what's happening on the field today.
Well, you touched on that Queen's Park and Ross County. Still 1-0 for Queen's Park, and Ross County go bottom. Roy McGregor must be tearing his hair out, the owner of Ross County. They used to be famous, and now they're in danger of going to the third tier of our game.
Well, they actually, back to this conversation we have about kind of St Mirren being in bother or whatever. The bottom, potentially bottom, mid-February. Could Ross County seriously go down?
Yeah. I think they could. I think if they end up in the playoff position, I think they'll be good enough in the games to get through it. Albeit that it's a different playoff system that they're used to, because again they're used to obviously the playoffs going up, which you're playing different teams. Will they get out? I think they will, but it's got to be deeply concerned, because he's spent so much money up there. And we all know Roy McGregor cares for the club so much, so he will be hurting at this moment in time.
I think if you've been so consistently poor, and a change of manager made no difference at all, because in 10 minutes' time they could be rock bottom of the championship table. If you are that poor, yeah, of course you could go down.
Yeah, I mean, it was a slightly daft question given that they are bottom, but it just be unthinkable. But again, you look at the teams above them. Airdrie at times showed I think maybe we're fearing for Queen's Park though, but if they can go up there and win that today.
Yeah, and again you look at Airdrie last night, they had chances against St Johnstone. St Johnstone's goalkeeper had two fantastic saves to make sure they got the 1-0 win and get the points. So Airdrie have certainly, again, since they've changed their manager, the managers came in and made a difference. It seems as if he's more positive and just looking to finally tweak and get them results, so they're not far away either.
Right, Hugh, one more on the teaser for now, then we'll maybe wrap it for a bit and do the answers in a second.
In my career, I've been managed by Tony Mowbray and Jim Goodwin. I've played beside Conor Barron, Matty Longstaff and Scott Sinclair, and I've won every major trophy in Scotland. Who am I?
John Wall thinks it could be Willow Flood.
No.
Craig Kearney thinks it's Stuart Armstrong.
No.
Okay, good answer still coming in. So probably let's call it about a 5-minute warning. Don't hold me to that if I get the timing wrong, but we'll aim for roughly that. Lucas Stevenson's limped off for Dundee United. That will not be good news. A very important player for Jim Goodwin. Ivan Dolchek came on. Remember, we were about 6 weeks or so into the season, maybe not quite as long, and Ivan Dolchek was the top scorer in the league.
Yeah. When is he going now?
I think it'll be the same amount.
But again,
4 or whatever it was back then.
And he doesn't start every week. He's struggling to actually get in the team. So when I first seen him at the start of the season, I thought he was a real find, a brilliant player, and then he's just all of a sudden just fell off a cliff and can't find that form.
Maybe just a symptom of w's happening at Dundee United though, Hugh. You can't really get going.
No, I'm just thinking though, if Dundee get a winner, I've got the ACCA up.
Oh, well, that's the last thing we need.
Yeah.
You got the other two in place, do you? Hibs to win and did you go draw? Did you?
Draw
okay.
Falkirk, yeah.
You did.
Good on you. A couple of injuries that for United as well, Cammy. Lots of games coming up, we mentioned, and having to play catch up a bit as well. So look, they're in an okay position here. They're drawing the game, which Falkirk is a tough place to go. Maybe you're not distraught at drawing it. They've got the last 10 minutes or so with a numerical advantage.
Yes, and again, it's an opportunity to win the game, but I flip it, and Falkirk have got players on the pitch that can score a goal, and if Dundee United were to lose this game, it would be more damaging, again, because Falkirk are down to 10 men. They've got, as you mentioned, big games coming up. They've got games they need to catch up on. They've got injuries, so there's a lot of problems there for Jim Goodwin, but they can only try and take care of today and get the 3 points, because it would be a massive boost for them.
Well, you heard Danny Rule the other night saying a sending off's not always an advantage to the other team. I know it's not, but still the Rangers fans expected more out of the last 15 minutes the other night, didn't they? Probably 20 minutes by the time you add on.
The expectation ramps up from the team that are obviously got 11 players, and the fans at Dundee United, the supporters that go, they'll be expecting for Dundee United to at least create chances, go and win the game. And that's why I say, if Falkirk were to score and win this game, and listen, you wouldn't put past Falkirk the way they've been this season, it would be really damaging for Dundee United.
With regard to Danny Rule, it wasn't just the team selection which fans thought was wrong to begin with. They then couldn't understand these substitutions, so it was a really bad night for Danny Rule, and that's why I think he'll get back to those who should be on the park being on the park tomorrow against Hearts.
I loved, and I've made it to 4:45 nearly without waxing lyrical about Mercedes Jens, so indulge me for a second. I love his explanation for it, Gordon, or his insight, where he sort of said that they were unmoved basically because the goalkeeper becomes another centre half. He said he's been playing as half a centre back this season, Callum Ward, so all you do is you just make him play as a full centre back. You be a bit more aggressive, of course you need to be careful when you give the ball away, but then you don't have an outfield numerical disadvantage. And I thought that is great. Now I know it's maybe not that simple and you need to pull it off, but it kind of shows you his mindset.
Yeah, he's absolutely brilliant. In our day that was called a backy. I just think that because Rangers went to 3 at the back, 3 against 1, that gives you, you've got 2 spare players there. They gave the territory up in the middle of the park as well, Gordon. I think that he'd be disappointed with that. Obviously Motherwell going down to 10 men, they're still 1-0 up, and even the way they lost the goal, Sterling at the back post gets out jumped. Welsh is standing there. It's a great finish for Welsh. I was very impressed with Welsh. I thought he was excellent, I've got to say. I was impressed with Motherwell. They didn't play at their best, but they certainly deserve something out of the game.
Is that mindset as well, Cammy? You need the tactical nous, and you need the players to be able to pull it off, and your clarity of message and all that, but even just what your idea is. Traditionally speaking, if you are a team like Motherwell and you go down to 10 against Rangers, you are fearing the worst. They just don't do that.
Positivity from them, and again that feeds into the players, absolutely feeds into the players. The players start to believe, and don't panic on the pitch. We've lost a player, but we know how to deal with it. And again, I'm pretty sure the manager and the way that he's went about this business, the conversation will have been had. If we drop down to 10 men, this is the way that we play. We don't change, we just adjust. And as he says, the goalkeeper then takes a little bit more responsibility, and it's great to hear that, because it's so positive from a team going down to 10 men, as you say, against a big team in Scotland, Rangers, at home, but he uses that positivity and it worked for him. He gets the result.
I think Motherwell fans have to resign themselves to the fact.
Oh, why does it always have to come back to this? I know where you're going with this. Go on, get it over and done with.
I even read Chris Sutton this morning saying that Celtic should approach Mercedes Jens.
Honestly.
But I don't mean just Celtic. If you are as good as he is, and every week he proves it at Motherwell, somebody's coming in for him.
Depends how Michael Carrick finishes the season at Man United.
Yeah.
They want to go down. Queen of the South 1, Alloa 2. In the game there in League 1, Curtis Roberts might have just won it for the Wasps. Stenhousemuir 2, Montrose 2 there. No other goals in the top flight to tell you about. Are we getting a winner in any of our 2-2 draws?
Doesn't look like it, does it?
That game up at Dens is rubbish.
I was going to say, what's happened? Not heard a lot.
Would you listen to this?
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Dundee United are laughing in the face of the predictions on here that they'll finish 11th earlier in this show. They have potentially won it against the 10 men. Falkirk 2, Dundee United 3. Julius Eskison, he only came on about 5 minutes ago. He's picked up a cross from Ryan Strain, controlled it at the back post, and then fired low into the net to make it Falkirk 2, Dundee United 3.
Result Jim Goodwin needed. Well, it's a scoreline now, but a couple of minutes from now it will be a result, and it's one that he very badly needed. So if it is a win, they'll go on to the same number of points as Aberdeen, and that's not what they want to hear as they prepare to face Mercedes-Benz.
They needed a little break. They got it when Falkirk went down to 10 men, and they've made that advantage count, and that's all you can do. Look, there's still a bit of time to play because obviously VAR gets involved as well, but he's not good.
It's 83 minutes on the clock.
Yeah.
There is time, but
yeah,
Falkirk
of course
down to
there
10.
But Falkirk just need to take some chances now, and they may get hit in the counter with Dundee United. Jim would like another goal just to make sure that the 3 points were going back up the road.
Yeah, it's a difficult one for Dundee United now. How do they handle it? Sit back and allow pressure to come on them and defend it? But listen, there's no getting away. That's a huge goal for Jim Goodwin, because this would be a big result. The 10 men probably play a part in the result, but if they can get the 3 point, almost, I would say that just pulls them away from that relegation battle, and probably heaps a little bit more misery on St Mirren, because that's another team that have pulled away.
Yeah, leaves them 11 points. If it's a result, it's 11 points behind Falkirk, and with 2 games in hand for Dundee United. So a bit of belated heat on Falkirk with regard to top 6.
I'm so torn because Roger Hannah's like, he knows everything, and then he'll come out with such nonsense like he did earlier about Dundee United finishing 11th.
You missed out a word, thinks. He knows everything. All of a sudden Dundee United went from finishing 11th under Roger to Hugh getting them in the top 6. It's so exciting.
It'll be a long way to do that, but we'll wait and see. Long way to go, he says. He's not backing down, he's doubling down. Yeah. Let's give out some prizes, Hugh.
The second half teaser with Archiplan Glasgow. Planning permission and building warrants drawings for home extension, conversion or renovation.
I say prizes, it's really just the bragging rights, but nevertheless.
In my career, I was managed by Tony Mowbray and Jim Goodwin. I played beside Conor Barron, Matty Longstaff and Scott Sinclair, and I won every major trophy in Scotland. I am Brunei.
It's Scott Brown, it is indeed. Obviously leaning into his Aberdeen spell, which maybe people don't remember all that well or don't pay as much attention to as the obvious. Third place was Looney Marco, well done in third. Second place Kyle B, 1872, and first, the winner, the Scott Brown champion of the day, was David Jua, 1512. Well done to you. The bragging rights are yours. That'll impress your other half on Valentine's Day. Just tell them what you've done. I'm sure that will really, really send out a message.
Do you think so?
It depends.
If it does, he's got a real exciting life.
You never know. You never know. Right, we're in late drama territory, so we're looking to see where it might come. Will we get that winner at Dens Park? It was the best opening 20 minutes of the season, and then nothing's happened ever since. Again, is there a chance there? Because you wouldn't put it past Falkirk, would you? I know they're down to 10. It feels like if they're one of the teams that you would not surprise you at pulling something out here and equalising.
I think we're going for the day.
You're cynical.
You never know. One chance, and Falkirk have got quality on the pitch. I think Brian Graham's on now as well, so whether they'll go that more direct route to get them up the pitch and put Dundee United, we know Dundee United are vulnerable as well. They're not full of confidence, they'll just want the full-time whistle, so be interesting to see how they handle it in the next 5 to 10 minutes.
It'll be an unhappy town. You go back to tonight, Annan 2, East Kilbride 4, Connor Young with his second. That'll be that wrapped up, you'd imagine, for East Kilbride, I'm afraid to tell you, Cammy.
I think I seen the Annan goalie getting sent off as well before. So
did he?
Yeah.
And that'll be a big one at the top of
Spartans still
the league.
drawing,
Spartans are still drawing.
Yeah.
Still are they? Hold on. Let me just double check that before I give you false info. No, they are, and only 3 minutes left.
Is it 0-0 at Spartans?
It is. It is indeed.
That'd be a big result for East Kilbride.
Yeah, close the gap even further, and especially after Spartans hammered them a couple of weeks ago. So Spartans with the vastly superior head-to-head record, but East Kilbride doing the business against the other teams. We're not too far away as well. As soon as we get these games done and dusted and reflect on them, that's when it always passes over to you, doesn't it? On 01419511025. So have a think, let us know what you are thinking, and we'll go through it between 5 and 6 o'clock. If you're looking at today's games, we always love that on a Saturday, just that immediate fresh reaction, whatever jumps out for you. And if it's about tomorrow, wow, no shortage of talking points. Second v first at Ibrox. How big a day could that be in the title race? How do you think it's going to go? What are the implications of Celtic playing as well first at Kilmarnock? Will they win? Will they slip up? What does that do? If Danny Rule got his team wrong the other night that you keep telling us Rangers fans, then what does he need to do tomorrow? Pick up that phone and let us know. Will Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, should Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain start, or is it too early? Just some of the things we might get through on 0141 951 1025.
The great thing about Rugby Park, it sets the tone for Ibrox. If Celtic win, then both Rangers and Hearts are under pressure, and if Celtic lose, Ibrox erupts and the Rangers fans demand that they beat Hearts and they begin to look like title contenders. So Kilmarnock sets the tone for Glasgow.
I can't disagree with that. Usually it's Hearts in the last few games been the one to put the pressure on both Rangers and Celtic, but tomorrow, and it will be difficult, let's not be kidded here, it will be difficult. I still fancy Celtic strongly to go down there and win that and put the pressure on the game at Ibrox later on.
Yeah, Brian Graham's had a chance. It's a great block from Vichko Save, 8 yards out. That was about a minute or so ago, and there was still 2 of the 90 there, so there's a chance. 4 added for David Friel. None of you fancy a winner there between Dundee and Livy?
No, they had their moment, their first 20 minutes.
6 added for Fraser Wishart. So it's time there. There's time for Falkirk to get that goal.
I would not be surprised if Falkirk found a way to get a point here.
Dundee United will be very nervous. As I mentioned before, they're not in good form at all, and they know how big this result would be. Away to Falkirk, they probably would have took a draw, but in these circumstances, late on in the game, you're 1-0 up, they're down to 10 men. It'd be devastating to lose a goal, so they'll be just hanging on in there.
Yes, we're going to be an interesting end to that one, because you can just imagine the Falkirk fans, they've just been loving life this season. They've done so much right, so they'll really be urging their team on. Fraser spoke about the big support earlier as well, so they will believe that they can dig something out here. 6 minutes added, a couple of VAR checks in that game clearly adding to that. There was 3 added at Hibs, which is probably up round about now, so it's going to be another tough day for you St Mirren fans. Why don't you jump on the phones as soon as it's done and let us know, are you really fearing that 11th spot, or is there still enough in the tank? 0141951 1025. That must be imminent. David Friel will be just behind, and then Fraser Wishart will be the final full-time whistle there, so we cannot be far away whatsoever. Did we give out the Scott Brown prizes?
Yeah,
we did. Well done. Good. I'm just worried I didn't want to let people down. Full-time Roger Hannah at Easter Road.
Full-time Gordon Hibernian 2, St Mirren 0. There is life after £7 million. Kieran Bowie after all, a first Hibs goal for Owen Elding, a second Hibs goal for Ante Suto, and Hibernian are moving within 2 points of 4th place Motherwell tonight. But for St Mirren, another blank in the league, and they're only 3 points above Kilmarnock in that relegation playoff place. Hibs had the better of a scrappy, a tousy first half here. Dane Scarlett's header saved by Shamal George after 11 minutes. 6 minutes later, George called into action again to push out a low drive from the edge of the box from Miguel Chewa. But the breakthrough came in 42 minutes. Outstanding Dan Barlaser picked up a ball in the inside right channel. He dinked a ball in, and there was a glancing header from 19-year-old Elding, making his first start for Hibs after his January move from Sligo Rovers. Glancing the ball past George into the far corner. Stephen Robinson showed his dissatisfaction with the first half performance. At the break on came Michael Mandron and Roland Edua, but they got a break 5 minutes into the second half. Nicky Cadden's deep cross beyond the back post met on the volley by right wing back Felix Paslak. It smashed off the post and flew away to safety. 5 minutes later though, a real turning point. Alec Gogic pinched the ball off Chewa 25 yards out. He freed Michael Mandron. A fizzing shot from the substitute, and somehow Raphael Salinger dived high to his right to push the ball away. St Mirren really throwing everything at it. Fit again, captain Mark O'Hara, and Jalmaro Calvin sent on in 58 minutes. Hibs then took off young Elding and strike partner Scarlett with ongoing club captain Martin Boyle and Soto. And in 66 minutes, the second goal, the clincher came. A scrappy was bouncing about the box and it fell for substitute Soto to bundle it over the line past George for 2-0. It survived a VAR check. Ensured 3 points for Hibs. They're pushing Motherwell close tonight. Full time score at Easter Road, Gordon. Hibs 2, St Mirren 0.
Yeah, good win for Hibs. I am interested in the thoughts of you St Mirren fans, though. In isolation, not a game that you necessarily think you're definitely going to go there and win or get something, given the way things have been. But how big a blow is that to look at the table? Potentially Dundee United going to win as well. How worried are you, St Mirren fans? Keep us up to date, please, on 01419511025. Good win for Hibs, Hugh. Professional, job done, whatever phrase applies.
Yeah, and as Roger rightly points out, moves them nearer to Motherwell. But in a season of incredible stories, where Celtic and Rangers both changed their managers, could St Mirren win a cup and go down?
It was nearly the game of the day. Maybe still is. It just finished quite quietly. Here's David Friel after Dundee Livingston.
It was certainly the first 20 minutes of the day, Gordon. Full time Dundee 2, Livingston 2. Really strange game. Brilliant first half, pretty edgy second half. And a strange outcome, really. Dundee blow a 2-0 lead, but this is still a better result for Stephen Pressley and Marvin Bartley. Livingston manager be pleased with these players. Fought back from that nightmare start. They were so bad for the first 5 minutes, but they got back, they got the 2 goals, and yet again, though, they failed to win. And they're 8 points behind 11th place Kilmarnock now, having played a game more. I think it's fair to say the clock is ticking on Livy's top flight stint. This wasn't also a great day for Dundee either after that brilliant start. 2-0 up and cruising inside 5 minutes, but they let Livingston back into it. I think Stephen Pressley will have plenty of food for thought. As I say, Simon Murray scored 2 early goals. Dundee had a perfect start for them. For the first, Yandanda's corner caused a bit of chaos in the box. The captain volleyed it into the top corner. Cam Congreve then found space in the right for the second. He floated in across. Simon Murray, brilliant glancing header into the bottom corner. But Livy, as I said, credit to him for the way they played, the way they fought back. He grabbed the lifeline. Lewis Smith combined with Robin Muirhead, fire past John McCracken. 15 minutes on the clock at that point. Macaulay Tate then missed a chance. Then by 19 minutes it was 2-2. John McCracken caught in the ball by Robin Muirhead. His attempted clearance was blocked out to Scott Pittman. He did an empty net and he just rolled it into it. Dundee kept going. Cam Congreve had a really good chance to put in the head. Lewis Smith, he was a constant threat for Livy. He also had the chance before the break. Second half, as I say, was a lot more tense. Both sides did have some openings. Both managers made a lot of changes. Probably disrupted the flow of the game. Cammy Kerr came on, Mr Dundee. He blocked Simon Murray's shot as Dundee looked to go 3-2 ahead. Ethan Hamilton then had an 18-yard shot that flew wide up the other end. Lewis Smith, as I said, he was always carrying the main threat for Livingston. He put a curling shot over the bar. Then right at the death, Cam Congreve, the outstanding player on the pitch, cut in from the right wing. He had a low shot. Jerome Prior guarded it, then slipped through his legs, but he managed to get back in time and claim it off the line. So overall, a fair result, but one that both managers probably will be happy. About time Dundee 2, Livingston 2.
And we're nearly there for Fraser Wishart's game as well. That's late red card drama. Is either side going to score late on in that one, or is it done? It is, it's done. Fraser Wishart, let's hear from you.
Yeah, it's done. It's Falkirk 2, Dundee United 3. Small band United fans to my left, very happy. Falkirk fans furious, mainly with the referee Ryan Lee, but a big win for United to keep their hopes of top 6 alive. The game was level at 2-2. I think a turning point was VAR. Red card to Liam Henderson, 68 minutes. United took advantage to win the game with a late goal through sub Julius Eskison. The first half was with a few chances. United had a few half chances before Falkirk took lead. 17 minutes, lovely ball by Dylan Tate into Barney Stewart's feet in the box. Clever layoff to Ben Bruggio, who was making the run inside. A really good finish by the young winger across the goalkeeper into the far side net. United equalised at 25. Ryan Strain with a long throw into the box. It was cleared high into the air by a Falkirk defender. Scott Bain came to get it, no real pressure. Rather than catch it high, he wanted to catch it low beside his waist. He bumped into his own defender and the ball spilled to Ross Graham and just rolled the ball into the empty net. Lewis Nielsen looked a header onto the top of the bar and over with the goalkeeper beaten. And Falkirk reacted positively in the second half and took the lead in 52 minutes. They deserved it. Really good passing movement. Played Lisa on the right hand side, cut towards the box. He passed it wide to Lewis. Elliot McCann. Lisa continued his run into the box to side foot McCann's cross high into net from 6 yards. But United hit back again 2 minutes later. Ex-Falkirk star Craig Sibbald, the scorer, was onto a loose ball 20 yards out. clever finish, just passed the ball low into the bottom right hand corner, and it was now anyone's game, and the game opened up a bit. Philip Lisa was denied his second 62, took a good touch inside the box, struck his left foot shot from 16 yards, and it was heading for the top corner. An amazing save down to his right by Maynard Brewer to tip the ball over. A blow for the Bairns, 68 minutes, that turning point when Waters burst onto the ball. He was going over the top, just inside the Falkirk half in the centre circle. Liam Henderson pulled him back, definite foul, yellow card given by Ryan Lee, and he went to the screen, and it was a red card given to the big defender by Stevie McLean, who was the VAR official. All the boos around me are for the referee. He was not a popular boy around here. Brian Graham, the sub, had a half chance for a second. He was onto a loose ball, but he was denied by a great tackle by Vito Savelge, and it's a real chance here for the 10 men to win the game and close the gap on Falkirk on the table. 83 minutes, that was the winner. Ryan Strain again involved, chipped the ball to the back post, sub Julius Eskison. He was just on the pitch about 10 minutes. He was free at the back post, good control and low finish into the back of the net. But the Falkirk fans, the reason they're so unhappy was that Kyrell Wilson was bursting forward to just in the halfway line. He was fouled, the referee played advantage, United got the ball, he didn't bring the game back, and United shifted it to Ryan Strain, and the goal came from there. So the Falkirk fans were absolutely furious. But a good performance by United, first win of 2026, but disappointment for Falkirk. They were ahead twice but couldn't hang on, and not at their best today. Full time Falkirk 2, Dundee United 3.
Thank you to Fraser. It's now over to you. 0141 951 1025. If we're talking about today's action, I'm looking at you St Mirren fans. Another defeat. Yes, it can be a tough place to go, and Hibs are a bigger side and all that stuff, but it is another defeat. You had showed signs of life, beating Hearts and all that stuff, but you're looking at the league table now. How worried are you, or do you still think there is enough in the tank? St Mirren fans, get on to us if you can. Any observations from Dundee Livy or Falkirk United? We'll take them as well. And how big is tomorrow? Second against first at Ibrox. Before all that though, what will Celtic's result do? Does it pile on the pressure? Does it provide an opportunity? We'll find out at Rugby Park. Should Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain start? Why don't you get your thoughts in on that? And then it'll be over to the big one at the top thereafter. Rangers fans, if Danny Rule did get his team selection wrong the other night, as many of you seem to think, will he rectify it tomorrow? What should those changes look like? Is it a must win for you tomorrow in your title hopes? And Hearts fans, do you think you can keep these teams at arm's reach for another weekend? 0141 951 1025. If you call now, we'll try our very best to get you on next. And as always at this time on a Saturday, if you want to switch over and watch the live stream and see how dishevelled Hugh Keevins, Cammy Bell and Gordon DL are after a long day in the studio, then please do that. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you like, and we'll speak to you next.
Because you like spotting yellow cars before your kids do. Because you like to read the score on the screen, especially when you're winning. Because there's a Boots Opticians about 2 minutes from work. Because we have clinical experts and all the latest tech. Because your eyes deserve our ultimate eye test. Because we'll help you find your perfect style. Because of all these things, there's only one choice. Boots Opticians. See what's possible.
A Rayo original podcast.
Hello, I'm Pete Wicks, and my podcast Man Made is back for Series 2. I'm sitting down with more of my mates and famous faces to talk modern masculinity, who we are, who we want to be, and how we get there.
Am I enough as any of these things? Am I any good at these things?
Anger takes the place, I think, for men.
Listen to Pete Wicks' Man Made now. New episodes every Wednesday on the Rayo app, Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts.
At Lidl, we value getting everyone round the table this Pancake Day. Make sure to top up on toppings from the Fresh Produce Retailer of the Year, us, such as a 4-pack of lemons and fun-sized apples, both for just 69p with Lidl Plus. Lidl, more to value. Subject to availability, selected stores, GB only. Offer ends 18th of 2nd, 26.
LinkedIn is pretty great at a lot of things, like helping you tap into your field's latest industry trends and insights. We can't stop your colleague from tapping her pencil. LinkedIn can help you find new jobs that align with your career goals. We cannot help find the source of that weird smell in the office fridge. Ew. And while we can't stop your colleagues from bringing their hobbies into the office, LinkedIn can help bring your career to the next level. LinkedIn is the network that works for you.
Are you one of the 1.5 million UK customers that have used MedExpress for your healthcare journey? If not, accessing treatments for sexual health is now easier than ever. You don't need to visit your GP or pharmacy. Just complete a short online consultation to find the right treatment for you. We'll send your treatment directly to your door, delivered to you in discreet packaging with ongoing support from our experienced UK-based medical team. Take the first step towards managing your health concerns with confidence. Visit medexpress.co.uk/podcast to learn more.
When ordinary people take on extraordinary challenges. When it's the finale after weeks of competition. When it's time to go big or go home.
So, who do you want to win?
Him. Good hair.
Classic reason, yeah?
Nothing brings us together like great TV. And a TV licence covers you to watch all TV channels, plus BBC iPlayer, with all the reality shows you love to talk about. Search TV licence together.
You can't do much in under 5 minutes. Boil an egg? Sure. Cook a roast dinner? No chance. But comparing car insurance prices with mustard.co.uk? Easy. See what you could save in just a few minutes. Click mustard.co.uk. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. See website for details.
The games are over. The talking begins. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Hugh Keevins, Cammy Bell and Gordon Dalziel are still here. We want to reflect on today's action and, of course, look ahead to tomorrow, which cannot possibly be a letdown. It just can't. Even if the games are rubbish and dull and nothing happens, even if they were both 0-0, that would be significant because it would mean nobody would gain on Hearts. There would be further drop points everywhere. So it is guaranteed to be dramatic one way or the other tomorrow, and we'd like to hear from you ahead of it. 0141 951 1025. Kelly are getting better. Can they stop Celtic tomorrow? Should Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain start? Is there anything else you want to get off your chest? The big one that follows it, second against first, Derek McInnes and Hearts looking to keep up their unbeaten run against the Old Firm sides this season. What team should Danny Rule pick this time? Is it must win for Rangers? So many questions on the back of what's been an enjoyable day today, Hugh Keevins.
Yeah, and with lots of consequences for the clubs involved, because if Kilmarnock were to beat Celtic, if they'd move on to the same number of points as St Mirren, and St Mirren would be joint second bottom of the Premiership. So they're concerned about tomorrow as much as the Celtic and Kilmarnock and Rangers and Hearts fans are. So everywhere you look, there's a story to tell.
And today, Gordon Dalziel, some big games, some big results, lots of goals scored.
Yeah, got off to a great start up at Dens. After 20 minutes, they'd scored 4 goals, and unfortunately it ended that way. Hibs favourites at home against a struggling St Mirren, go over the line, another good 3 points, and obviously Dundee United going to Falkirk. Everybody fancied Falkirk, the form they're in, going to be probably in the top 6. It was important for Jim to get a result, and he was aided by the fact that Falkirk went down to 10 men, made that advantage count, so it was a good day for Dundee United.
Yeah, a big win for Dundee United for me. When you look at 4 defeats in a row coming into this game, a difficult fixture away to Falkirk, they managed to get 3 points, so that's a huge boost for them. But it's worrying times for St Mirren for me. Again, it's another defeat, and as you mentioned in the show earlier, not just in isolation this one game, it's the consistency. When are they going to get back to winning ways? So yeah, a real concern for St Mirren fans.
Usual number 0141 951 1025. So let's hear from you again. Looking back on today, you St Mirren fans, it's not that long ago you beat Hearts. That was a great night. Has today's result worried you at all when you look at the table? Are you fearful of dropping into that relegation spot, or is it too early for all that stuff? Have you still got enough in the tank? Are we overreacting by asking the question? You can let us know, please. Falkirk fans, you sounded very annoyed at the referee, judging by Fraser Wishart's full-time report, so we'd like to hear your explanations as to why on the same number. And like we said, tomorrow, just how big is it? Is it must win for Rangers? What team should Danny Rule pick? Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, so many subplots. Hugh Keevins, you've been left alone this Valentine's weekend. What a double header though, seriously. We've even, due to the FA Cup, I would imagine, prime time slots on Sunday afternoon for the Scottish game, and it should be unmissable.
Well, you look at Celtic's last 2 games, Cup and League, and they owe Junior Adamu for keeping them in the Scottish Cup. They owe Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain for keeping them in the title race. Now, Martin O'Neill himself said it's not feasible to go on scoring goals in the dying seconds of a games. Celtic have to start positively against Kilmarnock tomorrow. I'd be tempted to play Oxlade-Chamberlain from the start. I really would, because Hatate's form has gone off a cliff. Engels is unfit, and I just think he has already started to become an inspirational figure. I'd be tempted to go with him from the start.
But surely, Hugh, if they were going to go down that road, the other night against Livingston at home would have been the ideal for to start him, because you're going to a different pitch, you're going to a harder game. You get 13 minutes. I don't think, look, could be wrong, I don't know what Martin O'Neill's got to do, but I will be amazed if he starts from the kick-off.
I understand why, Hugh, you're saying that, because absolutely he's going to be such an important player for Celtic. I think he'll play a huge part in what happens in the game tomorrow, because for me, I've said since he's came into the club, he is a top player. It's just that worry that you cannot afford him to get injured between now and the end of the season, because it's such an important run-in. But I totally understand why you say he could play from the start.
Others, Cammy, have got to come to the fore. Shvanchara missed a really good chance against Livingston midweek, and these missed chances aren't helping. So Martin O'Neill will be looking to start very, very positively, because Neil McCann and Billy Dodds have undoubtedly turned Kilmarnock around, and now Kilmarnock are looking at St Mirren and thinking we could go above them.
What do you make of that, Kelly fans and St Mirren fans? Gordon and Cammy, Hugh's given his big build-up, and I'm sure we'll do more. Whilst the calls get lined up, just sum up how big and how important Ibrox is going to be.
Oh, it's massive, especially when they know what the result will be at Kilmarnock, first and foremost. They could be getting into that game, bit of pressure put on from Celtic if they get the result. I think it'll be difficult, but I still fancy Celtic to do the business down there. And then it's Rangers Hearts. Now, I know Danny Rule come in for a bit of criticism Wednesday night against Motherwell about team selections, tactics, everything. But if you'd go and beat Hearts at the weekend, and then you look back in the last two games, really difficult, 4 points out of 6, all of a sudden closing that gap against Hearts as well. So that'd be massive for them. But Hearts will go to Ibrox confident, because they've got the beating of Celtic Rangers. They've been top of the league, and they deserve to be there with their performances. They've showed a lot of guts and fight and everything about them, been down to 10 men and still getting results. And then obviously the late winner in the derby against Hibs. So I think that's an absolute cracker.
Hugh thinks Kilmarnock will beat Celtic tomorrow, and that really opens the door for the other two thereafter. Why don't you even get your predictions in? It would be nice to hear that. But the last time we speak to you, certainly before the first game kicks off tomorrow. So what do you think? How do you see it all going? Who comes out of the weekend the winner, if you like? Who comes out in the best place? Rangers fans, what team should Danny Rule pick? Because you've been telling us that he got it wrong. So if you agree that he got it wrong the other night, what team should he pick? And will it be enough? And do you need to win this game? Or is it not quite as simple as that? What team does he need to pick, Gordon, whilst the callers get lined up?
I think he's got to bring in the players that he brought in January, Gordon, especially at home. Olsen in the wide area. I know he wasn't good against Hibs. I totally take that on board. But he's in the building now. He's been in for a few weeks. It's taking time for him to settle in. But he's got quality. Let's not be kidded here. He's got quality.
He'll start up front.
I will be baffled if Chermiti starts. I just don't see it at all. I know he likes him. I know he goes with him sometimes. But tomorrow, I think he'd be my third choice. I would also look to bring in the left back, Romans. I think he looks top class. I know you can argue, well, we've seen him against Queen's Park 8-0, and you know, it's easy to play against Queen's Park when you're scoring so many goals. And obviously come on against Kilmarnock as well, down that left hand side with Moore. I thought that was a big threat. McGomez played well. I'm not knocking him for that, but I just think this lad's a bit better. So I think you've got to go with your strongest team. For me, set plays. Rangers have got a set play coach in, and they've been very good. Fernandes for me comes in. I really do, because he scored 5 goals. So I think you've got to have a threat against.
Do you think he's a better defender than Diego?
Without a shadow of doubt, yeah.
Same.
Yeah, so I think there'll be.
That one was probably more injury related, was it not? The other night, him coming back,
probably. But I do see him starting tomorrow, Gordon. But if you're bringing players in,
do you not think he will start Chermiti though?
No, I think he might go Nadiri. Is it Nadiri?
Yeah.
It's pronounced
Ryan Nadiri. Yeah, I think he will start.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he looks. I know he came from the third tier of German football, but he looks a natural, which Chermiti does not.
Rangers need a goal scorer on the pitch tomorrow, because I don't think they'll get a huge amount of chances, but reflect back to that one chance that Chermiti had. If you've got a natural goal scorer, if you put a Shankland in that position, the ball hits the back of the net, and they're such an important moments in games for Rangers. When they're 1-0 up, they had that chance to go 2-0 up, that game ends differently, and Chermiti doesn't produce them goals that they need.
Yeah, you brought in players in January to strengthen your team and try and win the league. You've got your biggest game of the season so far at home to Hearts tomorrow. It's so important for them. They've paid an extra $2 million when they could have left this guy to the summer. So why not start him?
Don't get me wrong, I'm not expecting Danny Rule to come and speak like a fan when he speaks about Yusuf Chermiti. That would be a bit bizarre. But maybe he's an excellent bluffer, but he never seems to be as sort of worried about Yusuf Chermiti as fans are.
No, listen, I think he's got to put that out to the media that, again, he's backing his striker. There's been a lot of money spent on him. Again, I don't think the manager coming out and criticising him would help him at all at this moment in time. He's got to try and give him as much faith as he can between now and the end of the season. I just feel as if this is the opportunity that tomorrow's a huge match. And again, as I said before, I don't think Rangers will create a huge amount of chances. I think it'll be a very, very close game. We all know Hearts are good defensively. So them chances you get, you've got to take. These are the big moments, big games that are going to change Rangers this season. So they need somebody up top that gets one or two chances and the ball goes in the back of the net.
People keep almost waiting on Hearts not being able to sustain it, and maybe they won't, but if they leave with a draw tomorrow, that is 6 head-to-heads against Celtic and Rangers this season.
Yeah, psychologically that's
defeats. That would be remarkable, wouldn't it?
Everyone's looking for a psychological lift tomorrow. Celtic, Rangers and Hearts. And if Hearts get a draw at Ibrox, it's dangerous to go there with that mindset, and I don't think they will. I think Derek McInnes will insist on them going to win the game, but a draw would be fine but bearing in mind that if Celtic win at Kilmarnock, but
you don't think they will? You think Kelly win that game?
I think they're the last time it was 1-1, dying seconds, Celtic got a highly controversial penalty and Ian Atcher scored. The way things are going for Kilmarnock at the moment, they're scoring goals, and I don't think there's any reason to say that a win for Kilmarnock is out of the question.
They're also leaking them though.
I think it's very hard to base that. I know what Hugh's saying, you've still got to score them, and I think they have improved under Neil McCann, no doubt about that. Give them some credit. Like, they scored 4 against St Mirren, who can't buy a win. They're in real relegation trouble. St Mirren scored 3 against them. Celtic are going down there knowing the fact that we can put real pressure on Rangers and Hearts here by the time they kick off. I know it's a difficult game, and I do agree with you, it will be a difficult game. I can't see past Celtic one.
But Celtic have played the bottom 2 teams in succession here. Dundee in the Cup, Livy in the league.
And won both.
They've won both. Listen, I think
by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, Celtic haven't been brilliant, but again, you look at the Livingston game, they had enough chances. If they score that second goal, I think it's a lot more comfortable. The message from Martin O'Neill is take your chances, be ruthless at the top end of the pitch tomorrow, because that's going to be so important. I think they will get chances because Kilmarnock are defensively really vulnerable. Listen, Kilmarnock definitely have improved. I want to say that first and foremost, but the 2 teams have beat. Listen, again, a St Mirren who are on a real bad run of form. Aberdeen, who I absolutely don't rate at this moment in time, are really struggling. They're the 2 teams that Kilmarnock have beat, so it's going to be intriguing tomorrow. Okay,
0141 951 1025. Perfect time to call. We'll line up the calls next. So what are you thinking ahead of tomorrow, Rangers fans? Is it must win? What's your team? What does Danny Rule need to do? Hearts fans, can you keep this brilliant head-to-head record going? Celtic fans, Hugh doesn't think that you will even get a point at Kilmarnock. Do you disagree? Should Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain start? And what about today's action as well? If you call us right now, we'll do our very best to get you on next.
With the Little Plus Bakery Spin, you can get a free bakery coupon every time you shop. Just scan Little Plus at the checkout, spin, win, and enjoy a free bakery item. Lidl, more to value. One spin per customer per day, subject to availability. Ends 25th of Feb. 18 plus GB only. T's and C's apply. See lidl.co.uk/LPTV.
LinkedIn is pretty great at a lot of things, like helping you tap into your field's latest industry trends and insights. We can't stop your colleague from tapping her pencil. LinkedIn can help you find new jobs that align with your career goals. We cannot help find the source of that weird smell in the office fridge. Ew. And while we can't stop your colleagues from bringing their hobbies into the office, LinkedIn can help bring your career to the next level. LinkedIn is the network that works for you.
What's on TV? The answer is a lot. There's never been more choice over what to put on the box with an abundance of great new shows, but you can miss them all if you don't know where to look. And that's where the Pilot TV podcast comes in, your essential guide to every show that matters. Each week we sift through the very best in prestige TV to help you decide what's worth spending your time on and what isn't. So join me, James Dyer, as well as venerable TV critics Boyd Hilton and Kay Ribeiro, and let us help take the stress out of your downtime. The Pilot TV podcast, because you can't watch everything.
Private healthcare sounds pricey.
At Benenden Health, it's less than £16 per person per month.
Just for GP calls?
For a 24/7 GP helpline, physio, diagnostics and more. Now, tell me.
All about my medical history?
No medical questionnaires or hidden charges. We like to call it
healthcare done different.
Spot on. Benenden Health. Healthcare done different. Fee review periodically. 6-month wait for some services. T&Cs apply. Selected surgical procedures after 6 months. 24 in Northern Ireland. UK only. Visit benenden.co.uk.
We are now approaching your destination. Home of your cousin Andrew's wedding. Home of your other cousins, Alice, Anna and Amanda too. As well as their kids, Aria, Alison, Amy and Brian. Fingers crossed they have name cards this time.
Travel by train with Avanti West Coast and be with them sooner. Book early and save up to 42% at avantiwestcoast.co.uk. Exclusions and limitations apply.
After they play, you have your say. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Hugh Keevins, Cammy Bell and Gordon Dalziel are here. They were about to be joined by Lee and Cambus Lang, who has just disappeared for some reason. Give us a call back, Lee. We were excited to speak to you. Whilst we try and do that, let's hear from Marvin Bartley. The managerial reaction starting to come into today. Remember, he was 2-0 down after 5 minutes and drew 2-2. Actually fought back to 2-2 very quickly, and then nothing really happened for the remainder of the game. So here is what he had to say.
I wish I could sum it up. I nearly had a heart attack at the start. But no, listen, I said to the players at half-time, full credit to them because we started the game poorly, conceding goals that we shouldn't be conceding, but that's been kind of our Achilles heel throughout the whole season. But to bounce back the way they did and to get it back to 2-2 and then look a threat even beyond that, I can only be proud of them. So yeah, listen, it's a huge point for us because it's a point closer to the teams above us, and it starts taking us in the right direction. I was probably in shock because I just didn't see that that kind of start, and it just felt that it wasn't, without being disrespectful, it wasn't like they were well-worked goals or the goal that Hamilton scores against Celtic in the Cup. It wasn't that sort of thing. It's like things that were avoidable from our point of view. So yeah, you do begin to fear because you think, are we not at the races today? We've now been spooked because we're now 2 goals down. And one of the massive things to me, I say to the players, you're going to deal with adversity in football, but you see when you concede 1 goal, the next 5 or 10 minutes are absolutely vital to make sure you don't concede another, and that didn't really happen today. So yeah, there was a bit of shock, but once we calmed down, I've got massive belief in that group of players in there.
Lee is in Cambus Lang. Lee, what are you thinking about Ibrox tomorrow?
So I'm pretty confident about tomorrow, to be honest. I think if Danny Rule gets his team selection correct, then I think absolutely we'll get 3 points in the bag. I think Hearts can keep this going. They were lucky the other night, I would say, against Hibs. But I'm a season ticket holder. I've not had a chance to get to Ibrox often this year due to work commitments and stuff like that. But I managed to get along to the Queen's Park game, and I know, no disrespect to Queen's Park, but with the new signings on the park, they just looked so attacking. Everything seemed a bit fluid. Everything seemed to be clicking with the team, especially the boy at left back, Romans. So every time he got the ball, or every time Rangers were in possession, he looked a lot more attacking than what Magoma is. So I'd like to just see all these new guys coming into the lineup again tomorrow. And hopefully we can get the 3 points. I'd imagine we will do.
Lee, you used a phrase there. Hearts can't keep this going. Hearts have been top of the league for 20 weeks. They are keeping it going.
I know, but Hugh, I just don't think they've got the depth in their squad to continue playing the way they're playing. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely, there's no disrespect to them because they have obviously been playing well this season, haven't they? But and they're getting, well, maybe not playing well the past few games, but they're getting the results, which is obviously most important.
Lee, I think they have got the resources, because you look the other night there, they lost the spine of their team. Halkett, Delvin and Shankland were all missing. Massive players for them.
They're missing Shankland though, aren't they? Because I know Kabore got the double at Tannadice, but you watch him the other night.
Every team will miss Shankland.
Well, that's what I'm saying though.
Every team, but they're still winning games. They're still top of the league. Look,
it wasn't that long ago they didn't win against St Mirren.
Right, but they're going to lose 1 or 2 games. But they're rightly top of the league. But what I will do is I agree with Lee in the fact that team selection tomorrow, if it was me, I would have the new signings in. I think they look better. Kasama the other night to me was non-existent. I really did think he was non-existent. Chermiti will seem to have this thing about him. I'm sorry, he's just not for me. I don't think he's going to cut it. I think if you're a Rangers striker and we talk about the price tag, you've got to score more than he's got 4 goals or something this season. So definitely, I like the look of left back. I've said that earlier. Magoma's done not a lot wrong. I think he's been in there. He's a young lad. He's been excellent at times. But I just think playing against a Hearts side that have got a bit of quality can hurt you and will be a big threat against you. I think you've got to go with your best players, and that's why I would go with the new ones coming in.
Yeah, I would agree. I think there's got to be changes, and I think the manager will understand that as well, that maybe he did slightly get his team selection slightly wrong on Wednesday night. But again, I think tomorrow it's so important that Rangers start the game well. I think if they start on the front foot, take the game to Hearts, then that's going to be such a key way to get at this Hearts side. You can't let Hearts get belief within the game. If Rangers manage to score early in the game, then they can almost spook Hearts a little bit. So I think the new signings coming in, I think will be a real impact, because again, you've got that adrenaline. A lot of these guys haven't experienced that big game. I know a couple of them had game time against Queen's Park, but that's nothing like facing Hearts, who are top of the league at Ibrox, which is going to be electric tomorrow, because all the Rangers fans know how important tomorrow's game is.
Yeah, it sold out instantly. I am reliably informed that there's a much wider media interest than normal from like different parts of the country and parts of Europe and so on. So it's caught the imagination, this picture at the top of the table. Lee, what's the kind of label you would put on it? Is it must win for Rangers? Is it not quite as far as that? Is it a bit early for that? Is it must not lose? You know, what's the feeling?
See that during the week, I said to a few guys in work, I thought the next 4 games makes or breaks Rangers' season. I thought Motherwell at Fir Park the other night was probably a bigger game than what we're getting to the Mora, to be honest.
Oh, I'm not sure about that.
No. Playing against top of the table, I agree with you. Listen, I thought the other night there, Motherwell was always got to be a difficult game. We had a guy on here on Tuesday, Mark, talking about Rangers playing with a swagger. I couldn't understand that. I've not seen Rangers playing with a swagger. The one thing you will say about the manager, he was getting results, and that's what he's there for. And I thought he's been absolutely brilliant. Manager of the month on the Tuesday, and then he goes to Fir Park and gets off to a great start. And after that, Motherwell were by far the better team. But the importance tomorrow is you do not want to lose more distance on the league leaders.
I think when you look at it now, that if Rangers had won that Motherwell game, I'm not saying a draw would be acceptable tomorrow, but I think it would still leave them in a position that they could go.
So basically 4 points between the two games.
Yeah, absolutely. So now all it does for me is when they lost that late goal against Motherwell, all it does for me is ramp up the pressure on Rangers. They're at home. Now they need to win that game. For me, they absolutely need to win the game tomorrow.
You've mentioned the players that you think are kind of key, if you like, Lee, are the ones that give you confidence. Is there anything that worries you at all, or is it fully secure confidence?
No, so I think, I know Chermiti's been a bit of a talking point when it's came to Rangers this season, and we've obviously splashed out an extra couple of million for the big guy in the dairy up top. Watching him live at Queen's Park, I like the way the guy moves, you know what I mean? And I think even the other night, watching the game against Motherwell, I think there was maybe chances when it was him and Chermiti up top together, and the dairy was maybe getting into either positions and playing the ball in for Chermiti, and you think, genuinely, I think if Naderi was on and the roles were reversed and it was Chermiti playing the ball into Naderi, I think the big guy just looks more a natural goal scorer than what Chermiti does.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say about that, Lee, is I don't think he'll start with two up top tomorrow. I watched the game. I was at the game on Wednesday, and I was behind the goal, and I had a great view of Chermiti and his movement and everything about him. And it feels like a witch hunt here. I hate doing this, but you've got to be honest, he doesn't look... He would be third choice striker right now for me. He might come in time to come. I thought after the Celtic game, you could not get a bigger confidence booster in your life than scoring 2 goals against Celtic away from home, and all of a sudden you become an instant hero. But he's not kicked on from that, and that's a problem for him.
So everybody, you get to a stage where people say you can't keep mentioning the price tag, but you can, and people will. Hughie just will never be able to shake it. But maybe we're probably in a place with him now where the debate about whether he plays or not actually has nothing to do with the price tag. You know, it's just who's the best option.
Yeah, I agree with the Dazzler. For me, he's third choice behind Miovski and Ryan Navier. I think the price tag, if you're scoring goals, then people say, well, you get what you pay for. If you're not scoring goals, people mention the price tag because you should be getting what you paid for.
Go on, Lee, leave us with a score prediction.
I'll go 2-0 Rangers.
2-0 Rangers. Let's hear from Danny Rule. These are his thoughts heading into that one tomorrow at Ibrox.
We can close to 2 points. That would be massive. I think every game now it's crucial. Both or all the teams now know every result influence a lot, but every result is also not the final decision making. I think this is also very important to understand. We go in the home game. I think we have a good run at home with a lot of good results, a lot of clean sheets, but we face a strong side.
You're getting it tight now on the old Valentine's.
Why does that surprise me?
But some are topical. Roses are red, violets are blue. The Hearts are on top, but the boys will pull through, says Grant. So some are very good, topical, but Lynn has got it in for you. Violets are blue, red are the roses. Send Dalziel to Turkey to look at new noses.
I bet you Lynn's a charmer.
That's harsh. Let's bring it. You're going to say something you're regret.
Exactly.
So stop. Thank you to Lee in Cambuslang. There's more managerial reaction to today's games making its way to us, so we will play you that. Keen to get your thoughts on tomorrow as well. Paul is a Celtic fan. What a day tomorrow, Paul. You get to go first though. What does it all look like from where you're sitting?
So I'm a keen observer of Mr. DL's life. I'm just amazed at how celebrities do. I'm racking my brains to see what show he's going to go on.
No, all will be revealed.
I want to put a bet on the local bookie that he's going to win his local club championship with the amount of golf he's played. So I'm going to get a side bet on that.
It probably is, Paul. That would be the best show for me. Golf. Keep out of trouble.
That is not the most exciting sporting achievement of the season, though. Somebody will win the league, and we're trying to figure out who it's going to be. Paul, what does tomorrow hold significance-wise?
So, in homage to my late brother, I started going to the lounge with. I remember turning up at Celtic Park one day in the Walter Smith, the last Walter Smith era, the 18 million era, if you like, and it had David Weir, Stephen Davis, Chris Boyd, Alan McGregor, and I said to him, they've got leaders all over the pitch, we're in trouble. And my theory here is that Celtic have McGregor, Tierney, Schmeichel to an extent, and now Oxlade-Chamberlain if he can get on the pitch. And you maybe even put Trusty in there as people, not even so much about being over the course about winning the league, but when it comes down to crucial moments, then I think leadership, as much as experience, is going to be crucial.
It's always been the bit that we can't measure. You can have your theories on, can't be proven or disproven one way or the other. It's certainly a valid conversation, though. How much weight does it hold that Celtic have done this before?
Yeah, I think Celtic are in a transitional period. McGregor's a terrific leader. The number of trophies that Callum McGregor's led Celtic to tells you that's the case. And Schmeichel, all the experience in the world, Austin Trusty, Kieran, because he's been there for so long, the club means so much to him. But in other respects, you know, Celtic are bringing in players, 5 loanees plus Oxlade-Chamberlain. The 5 loanees are trying to get to grips with what the club means to people. Players like Hatate and Maeda look as if they're really not focused at the moment, particularly Hatate, who, as I say, his form has just gone off a cliff. Maeda, Martin O'Neill let it slip that he thought he was going to Wolfsburg, and then that fell through. So they're in a strange place, and the crowd are in a strange place. You know, I'm told by friends of mine who have been at the last 2 games that there's been all manner of toxic atmosphere in the Dundee game and in the Livingston game.
I don't think Livy ever got toxic, to be honest. I was there. I think it got a wee bit nervy, and there was a few sack the boards when it was late on. It was 1 each, but then the roof came off the place when
of course. But as Martin O'Neill himself said, you can't go on expecting that to be the case. So tomorrow is very important at Kilmarnock, and a good start's very important. But in terms of leadership, Celtic are going to have a massive rebuild in the summertime, and McGregor will need to be there to oversee that.
That is next season, to be fair. This season, what do you think of Celtic's experience of winning? Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe you think it doesn't, but I'm floating the question.
You're looking at probably guys that are starting week in, week out. You're looking at maybe 5 or 6. The rest
could be more if Johnson and Carter-Vickers were fit, but they're not.
Yeah, exactly. I think, the difference for me, I think Hugh touched on it. I think this season Hatate and Maeda have been well off the pace for me. What they can give, they're talented footballers. You look at Maeda last year, won every award going, rightly so. He was absolutely brilliant. Hatate, there talks about big moves for him here, there and everywhere. If Celtic for some reason can pull them back to the form that they showed last year, I think Celtic become a real threat in this title race. Right now, I couldn't pick between Hearts, Rangers and Celtic, so close.
If Hatate thinks he should be a bigger, better club than Celtic, then he'll need to start playing in order to convince someone that he is worth buying. But at the moment, you wouldn't touch him.
Arne Engels' injury, so we wait and see what that department looks like. Paul, have you got a concern over Reo Hatate?
Yeah, I think that might be Martin O'Neill's focus in getting I'm quite surprised at the Japanese guys, because they always pride themselves in professionalism, and it looks as if Maeda's either carrying an injury or he has down tools to a certain degree, that he's not pressing as much, and he's certainly not covering the amount of grass that he used to. So I do have a concern about that, and Hugh's right. There's a lot of inexperience, a lot of new players coming in, but I could just see I've watched Kieran Tierney very closely. I wasn't in favour of bringing him back, but I thought one of the rationales of bringing him back was that he was going to help McGregor with what the club's all about and all that stuff. But on the pitch, you just see him. The other night there, he came on and he was best man in the park, and he just so not to just hang my hat just on him, but the likes of him and McGregor, and more experienced pros that have played in bigger games. Craig Halkett, Lawrence Shanklin, how big an arena have they actually played in before? And I'm not saying that's a given, but I just think it will, when it comes down to the split and it comes down to the squeaky bum time, then I think that will be a factor.
Yeah, I think Paul makes up a good point right at the end there. The split. I've always spoke about the split this season. It's going to be so important. I think when you look at Hearts, that's where my doubt is about Hearts. I think Hearts are a fantastic team. They've done well to be where they are, and I think they'll hang in there. They'll absolutely hang in there. But when the split comes, these big games, you need to go to Motherwell, you need to face a Falkirk, you need to face a Rangers, a Celtic. Can they maintain that? Can they handle the pressure? And again, when you look at Rangers and Celtic, they've done it before, they've been there before, so that little bit of experience, and I don't even think it's just the players on the pitch, I think it's as a club. Again, do the fans start to get nervous at Hearts? I don't know, they might embrace it, I could be completely wrong, but I just feel as if the split's going to be so important, but there's no getting away from it. It's a big match for Celtic tomorrow. If they can imply the pressure on Rangers and Hearts tomorrow by getting a victory at Kilmarnock, I think they're sitting in a nice position just to watch the outcome of that game.
You can always spin these things. I noticed Craig Halkett speaking, was it yesterday, saying that he thinks, having not been there, it's not a burden, it helps because you don't have sort of memories either way. You don't have scar tissue of things like this going wrong. Yeah, you don't have the good memories to draw on either, but he feels like they are managing to just take it. I can't believe I'm using the worst cliche in the book, but one game at a time and just kind of going with it.
Surely my opinion here, I know what Paul's saying, but I think Hearts can handle it no problem, because I think if you look at Halkett and Finlay this year, I think they've been a better partnership than Scales and Trusty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They've been absolutely brilliant together. And that's why a big reason why Hearts are sitting top of the league. Devlin in the middle of the park's been brilliant. Shanklin is just a leader and a goal scorer as well. I totally agree. I sit here week in, week out, and I'm thinking, right, I'm a little bit like Hugh, but Hugh actually puts it out there. I sit in the fence. Who's going to win the league? Honest to God, I really don't know.
Whoever does win the league, and with tremendous excitement, and for this programme it's been terrific, the three-way fight for the league, but whoever wins it, you couldn't say, in all honesty, it's been a vintage year for that club in terms of the football played.
That doesn't matter though, especially for Hearts.
I fully understand that. As I said, I remember the day they lost it 40 years ago, and I remember the devastation. So if they win it and end 40 years of anguish and hurt, it will be scenes like we've rarely seen before. However, as I say, whoever wins it couldn't say the football has been vintage from start to finish.
That can't apply to Hearts. Maybe I'll let you away with the other two, but if Hearts win a title for the first time, as you said there, in all that time, in the first since the mid-80s, where it's anyone outside Celtic or Rangers, it's a lot more than a vintage season.
In historical terms, but as I say,
you talk about quality of football.
I'm separating to use the modern word, I'm separating the narrative from what actually took place on the park.
Yeah, but if it's a team like Hearts, so that's what I think's the difference. Who cares about what would style come into that? Can you imagine next year and they go, title win was great, but I wish our ball position had been a bit higher. That ain't going to happen.
Gordon, I'm going to say something. I would throw Rangers into this equation as well,
because they've not really won enough either. Yeah, fair.
See, months ago, we had Rangers fans coming on here and saying we have absolutely no chance of winning the league. Absolutely. Danny Rule come in and he's been absolutely brilliant. So it'd be great for Rangers as well. And obviously Celtic, they do it year in, year out usually. So that's why it's so exciting.
And even at that, you can make a case of having, if they do the recovery after, I mean, listen, I don't. Celtic and Rangers can't get away with an underdog story because they've got so much more money than Hearts. But if the Celtic come through the Wilfred Nancy experiment and still win it, there'll be an element of satisfaction there. So thank you very much to Paul on the line. It's a good time to get involved. We will speak to you next.
After the action, it's your reaction. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Into the final part of tonight's Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Give us a call please on 01419511025. We'd like to hear your thoughts on today's football. St Mirren fans, he's starting to worry, he's starting to fear getting dragged in. It wasn't so long ago you beat Hearts, to be fair, and it's not been a terrible run, but that defeat today, the league tables maybe not looking great. So let's hear from you please. And then tomorrow, Hugh thinks Killie will beat Celtic. What do you think? Should Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain start? And what about all the storylines running beneath Hearts trip to Ibrox. There is a lot to like about that fixture, no matter whether you're a Hearts fan, a Rangers fan, or an interested neutral. It is going to be unmissable. So all your calls in right now if you can. Let's get some more managerial reaction today as well. I hope Jim Goodwin isn't told about the start of the show when a few of the pundits had them to finish 11th. They've now won the game at Falkirk. They've opened up a nice bit of space and they've got some games in hand. Here's what he had to say.
It's a massive result off the back of the poor run that we've been on. You know, we all understood the importance of the game today, trying to close the gap on Falkirk. You know, that closes it down to 3 points, and then we've got a couple of games in hand on them as well. So if we can go and perform like that on an offensive front in the weeks to come, then we give ourselves a good chance of continuing this fight for the top 6, albeit we know we've given ourselves a bit of a mountain to climb, but we certainly won't stop trying. So yeah, and look, we're delighted with the result. We certainly won't be getting carried away. There's still elements of our game that we need to improve on, but the players showed great character, I thought, today, and real resilience to come back on a couple of occasions and to go and get a massive 3 points for us.
It's looking nice, sir, for them now. They're levelling points with Aberdeen in 7th, actually, on 28 points. If they have any hopes of making the top 6, they had to take something off Falkirk as well and do that kind of 6-pointer thing. Falkirk are still 11 points ahead of them, but they've got 2 games in hand, Dundee United, so certainly a bit looking up now, is it? When you look at
They've got 7 games to go to the split, Dundee United. Today was their 25th game, 7 games to the split. Arithmetically, they're still in there with a chance of putting Falkirk out of the top 6 and themselves into the top 6. So Jim Goodwin is quite right to raise that topic.
I agree with Jim and being positive after a good 3 points today. But top 6, I would be very surprised. Not for me. I don't think Dundee United have got the quality. I know they've got 2 games in hand. It's okay saying you've 2 games in hand, you've got to win them, and they're still behind Falkirk. Falkirk, yes, a disappointing day, but remember they've been down to 10 men as well and they lost the winner. So not for me. I don't think Dundee United will be a top 6 team this season.
We said before that Falkirk would take some catching anyway, regardless of what happened today, so that might still be the case, but it still feels like an important win. It maybe in 190 minutes does change the conversation about relegation. Not for Roger Hanna apparently, but for everybody else.
No, listen, what it does for Dundee United, it breaks that cycle of losing games. They lost 4 in a row before this. They've got a cup game coming up against Spartans that they should take care of at home, and then they face Kilmarnock at home as well, so they've got games coming up they can win. The top 6 for me is out of sight for them. I think the top 6 is set in my eyes at this moment in time. But what they can do is take this all away from any sort of relegation battle, and I'm pretty sure Jim Goodwin will want to do that and sort of finish the season as strong as he can. But I think it's too late for a push for that top 6.
Let's hear from David Gray as well. A good win for them, 2-0 against St Mirren.
I think obviously delighted for Owen on his first start. He's had to be patient because just through circumstances he's not got on in the last couple of games as well. I thought he was affected the game in a positive way against Rangers when he came on, and everything we hoped to see from him today we definitely did, which was bringing that energy, that youthful exuberance to the game that I think was required today off the back of the disappointment of last week. And then on a personal note for Ante coming on as a sub, he'll be disappointed he's not started at times, but that's exactly all you can do as a sub. The team that starts is never the team that finishes it, and can you come on and affect the game? And he's certainly done that. I thought Kai done that as well. Sub coming on, control at the right time. So all in all, delighted with the performance. But the most important thing today was all about the 3 points, especially off the back of that real disappointment last week. You don't always get what you deserve in football, but I think we certainly got what we deserved today, which is the pleasing thing and something then to build on.
2 points behind Motherwell now. Motherwell play Aberdeen tomorrow.
5 points behind. But
yes.
End of the day,
I'm that confident about the steal in tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it'll be too good for Aberdeen.
Yeah, Aberdeen have brought in Tony Docherty for a reason, and the reason is they're simply not getting anything out of their players, and it's been a very, very poor season from Aberdeen's perspective.
Yeah, I agree with that, but it's all about Hibs today. I think David Gray, I like listening. I think he's always up front and honest about the way his team's going about their business. They played well against Hearts.
Yeah.
They probably deserved to get something, but all credit to Hearts. And it was so important, especially at home today against a struggling St Mirren. You've got to get the 3 points. You've got to get the 3 points. 2-0, clean sheet as well. So David Gray's a happy man tonight.
It was a good win for Hibs today because, again, when you put it into context, they are closer to Motherwell. They want to finish in that 4th position. It's going to be a big ask because we know how good Motherwell have been this season. Hibs have kind of been inconsistent at parts, but again, can he finish the season strong? Can he get some big wins? Take his team into that 4th position? And I think if he finishes 4th, it would be a successful season for Hibs when you look at it.
Let's hear from Martin O'Neill ahead of that trip to Rugby Park tomorrow.
Really difficult game. Obviously, they're in a good run of form now. At this moment, it changes, and really expect a difficult match. They'll be up for it anyway. If those late goals did prove resilience and a bit of character, that's great. But I don't think you can live in your nerves for the rest of the time like that. There, expecting or hoping that you're going to dig out a winner very late on. It's just it's not plausible, I don't think.
That's the expression there from Martin O'Neill. You can't go on living on your nerves. The fans are living on their nerves watching the team. The manager's living on his nerves watching the team. The start to the match tomorrow is all important for Celtic. You know, if Kilmarnock score the first goal, they're bang up against it. Celtic have to start games and be more clinical in the starting of the games to make it easier for themselves. They ought to be. Remember, you're talking about a championship contender playing a team second bottom of the table. Celtic struggled against Livy because they weren't clinical enough. They struggled in the cup against Dundee because they weren't clinical enough. They've got to go to Rugby Park, start well, and the likelihood is they would finish well under those circumstances.
We are nearly out of time, but Alec on the line, if you can make it quick, I'd love to have you on before the end, so take it away.
Hi, Mr. Keevins. Every time he does a prediction, the Celtic, you never heard of playing. Always gets it wrong. So just wonder what the panel thinks about that.
That doesn't apply to Celtic, it applies to everybody.
Mm-hmm. He's made a career out of it.
No, you think we Kilmarnock are going to beat Celtic tomorrow?
Oh, tell me the score. Can you tell me what the score will be?
I don't know about the 3-0 to Celtic.
Well, will you phone back if it's a Kilmarnock win?
No.
At least he's honest. I did say we need to be quick. Thank you to Alec on the line. The last two games of Gordon, it feels like they're different. I know they've got late winners in both, but Dundee, Celtic didn't create those chances. It wasn't about being clinical. There was a lot more to it. But Livy was. You score a couple in the first half, you've got nothing to worry about in terms of these nerves towards the end or whatever. So, I don't know which category tomorrow will fall into.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see, Gordon. We're talking about two big games. Obviously, Motherwell and Aberdeen's another one. Motherwell sitting up there in fourth. So, look, I know it will be difficult. Neil and Dodgy have got their team well organised now. The recruitment in January's been good. Added to that, they've got a goal scorer. I just think the importance of the game, putting pressure on Rangers, Hearts, Martin O'Neill, Celtic will have too much, and I do believe that Hearts can go to Ibrox and get a point.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a brilliant afternoon of football. When you look at the Kilmarnock Celtic game, I think it'll be very, very tight because, as you say, I think Neil and Dodgy have got Kilmarnock playing well with a bit of confidence as well. But I think Celtic will just sneak it. And as I say, at Ibrox, I said it before, I think Rangers will sneak it there as well.
Today, outstanding story for me, St Mirren and freefall. One win in the last 7 games. If Kilmarnock get a win over Celtic, then they are joint second bottom with St Mirren. That's today. Tomorrow, anything could happen because anything has happened all season long. But one thing I do know, the triple header tomorrow is unmissable.
Absolutely is. 4 o'clock tomorrow is the return of Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Andrew McLean and the guys have got you covered, so make sure you join them. And in the meantime, you can stay right there because the GBX is up next.
Private healthcare sounds pricey.
At Benenden Health, it's less than £16 per person per month.
Just for GP calls.
For a 24/7 GP helpline, physio, diagnostics and more. Now, tell me.
All about my medical history.
No medical questionnaires or hidden charges. We like to call it
healthcare done different.
Spot on. Benenden Health. Healthcare done different. Fee review periodically. 6-month wait for some services. T&Cs apply. Selected surgical procedures after 6 months. 24 in Northern Ireland. UK only. Visit benenden.co.uk.